AVX ToyCat, and welcome back to another live stream on the internet. Today, I have an important message that I need to raise with all of you. If you're watching this stream right now, it is imperative that you know that for the 11-year anniversary of the channel, I decided to do something a little different, to do something kind of physical. So I got in touch with the company, and together we decided to work on a ToyCat plush. It was this cute design. It took months to like finalize and to get made, to get a test sample shipped all the way from the other side of the world. But we eventually did it. We got the ToyCat made, and for the next 24 hours, I think it's 23 hours now. I think it ends literally in 8 hours. So I for the next very few number of hours, we don't know the precise amount, but I assure you it's not very long. For some number of hours that is less than you would expect, you can pick up a ToyCat for $25 at makeshift.com. It's more like 30 because when you include worldwide shipping, but like I deliberately made it so like even if you're shipping to like New Zealand or Russia, it's still just $7 no matter where in the world. It's just a $7 shipping charge, and as a result, if you want to get yourself the lovely ToyCat, this is the last time to do it. Again, it's this lovely little handcrafted thing. We got a nice little in-joke on the back. It's got a tail. You can play with the arms. It's a really enjoyable thing. And after tomorrow, crucially speaking, when tomorrow is over, it will not be for sale ever again. It is a last time thing. And I want to use this opportunity to say, hey, if you want to be here in this moment in history, get a discontinued thing that will never exist again, you can go over there to the link in the description. You can pick one up. If you don't want one, that's cool. I just wanted to... I feel like it's more important to oversell the message to get it out there for everyone than it is to not. Also,
I missed some streams.
Also, you did, but thank you for managing to show up again regardless, Autimama. Hello, welcome to the live stream. I believe your name is Cat, so which by the way, like, as soon as I learn someone's called Cat, I'm like suspicious of them, like, is that like a pun? Or is that what people really call you? But it's good to see you again. I hope you're doing well. Except on the second-hand market, says Jash, crispy, creamy goodness. The reality is, okay, so like, again, I have no issue, like, a lot of people will try to be like, well, you can't buy it from second-hand. Well, good luck there. I cannot stop you selling these on, and indeed, you'd probably make more money doing that. But trying to find one second-hand would obviously be a lot harder than trying to find one first-hand, like, trying to trust that someone actually has one of the, there's only 500 of these, 513, and there's only 999 that can exist in the world. You have your limited, that no matter how many of these are sold, you'll always own more than 0.1% of the world supply, and that's cool to have like this handcrafted, this beautiful little item that can never be overwritten. I know, it's kind of cool. If I wait for 10 years till these are super rare, I'm gonna sell big bucks. I'll be, actually, I would love to play into the fantasy of like, hey, this will be worth $1 million in 20 years. I'm not gonna sell it to you under those conditions, because again, I try to be honest, even at the expense of myself. I think the reality is like, in however many years you want to say, like, let's say, 10 years, it will be worth like nothing because no one will know who I am, because that's how internet famedom works. Or it'll be this sort of thing where it's like, huh, that sure was wacky, huh? This is a cool little moment in history that you can share with your people. Mine comes in 2 months. So here's the idea, because it's like it's a really specific manufacturing thing. Like getting manufacturing costs get cheaper the more you make of something. So the idea is they're all being made over the next like month or two, like like a handful a day. And then after they're all done, they all get shipped at the same time in August. That's like, there's going to be a day where everyone gets their hands on all of them. I'm excited. In 10 years, you'll be IBX Old Cat. Hey, yes, I will be. No one wants to become IBX Old Cat, but someone has to make the stand and to try, indeed, don't they? So by the way, thank you very much to Finn Mueller, IBX Late Stream Cat. Hello, indeed. I sometimes am late to the stream. I guess you could call it a hilarious prank. Haha, that's what pranks are. You do things, and then you say it's a prank, and then it is a prank. You might say, wait a minute, ToyCat, isn't there more? No, it's 100% the requirements of calling something a prank. You've just got to be like, oh yeah, it's totally hilarious. I'm saying it's funny, and therefore it's funny. And that's how humor works. Again, some people will tell you that you need to have like some humor in there. You need to make people laugh. There needs to be something in there. Nah, pranks are actually just a thing where you just do something kind of mean. That's what I learned recently. Like I've got this epic prank I'm considering. Like I was thinking of dropping like a dirty bomb in a major population center. Like obviously, haha, funny prank, right? That absolute joke. The look on the face of I don't know Poland. The look on the face of Poland's prime minister when I tell him it was just a prank, bro, and then he tries to arrest me anyway. It will be absolutely priceless. Speaking of absolutely priceless, I watched a lot of videos and uploaded streams, but this is my first actual stream, says Clarissa D. Hey, good to see you, Clarissa D. The streams are so much worse in person, let me assure you. Everything you've built up in your head about these, every individual part of it is just worse than anything else. I say hello to the funny internet cat. Thank you for saying hello to the funny internet cat. I don't know if I can vouch for my own humorness, or indeed... Yeah, I definitely cannot, in fact. But what I can say is thank you for showing up, spending your time here, despite the fact that I give you a billion reasons not to. Speaking of a billion reasons not to do something. Wait, I should check how many plushes we sold. At the start of the stream, it was 514. It's 515 now. One more person has got their hands on a ToyCat plush. Wait, we could totally do this, like... Have you ever, like... When I haven't watched TV in a long time, but I remember, like, there was this hour of the day where for some reason, like, normal programs would stop, and it would just turn into, like, things being sold to you on the TV networks. Like, I guess it's for, like, drunk or stoned people who, like, tune in at those hours or something. I don't know what the logic was in, like, why these things showed up at 2 a.m. But I remember there were so many cool products that I looked at and was like, man, I wish I had money to buy these, huh? So, yeah, we're doing telesales, but we're doing it via Minecraft. And we're doing it for the most important product in the world. Because, have I mentioned, there is a ToyCat plush you can get your hands on. There is a ToyCat plush, and if you don't get it, your brain must be mush. Hey, good to see you, Triple Threat. Haven't been able to donate because I've been broke tween girl, but here's my last 7. ToyCat is yes. If it's your last 7, well, I mean, like, thank you for doing what you want to do with it. But second of all, I never ask, and never will, that, like, if it's your last money of any form, you don't need to give it to your boy ToyCat. I'm all good. Okay, let's put 2 of these logs back in here, and then we'll make some more charcoal. I'm all good. You don't have to give any last amounts, if anything, to me, because this stream is supported obviously by people who are nice enough to tip and help out. But I always want it to be like I always want it to be something you want to do, not something you feel like you have to do. And there's an important distinction there, huh? Hi, ToyCat. Haven't donated in ages, but here is my tax. Thank you for the ToyCat tax, friend. So yeah, we have officially sold 517. Yeah, that's nice. Actually, just to be again, I'm going to be entirely frank with you on how this works. I do actually make a cut on every ToyCat plush sold. That's one of the reasons I obviously care if you buy them. I think it's important to say stuff like that because obviously 99% of you have that in your brain, or like 98%. But you gotta say, this stream is effectively sponsored by me, if you think about it that way. And it's important to say that the stream is sponsored by me, so I have a financial interest in telling you to buy something. Which, again, obvious to most people, but just in case it wasn't, now hopefully it should be. Hey, thank you, James Wilcox, for the $5 tip, my man. I hope you're doing well, Mr. James. Or Mr. Wilcox. Mr. First name, it's kind of funny, like, it's a bit of a different way of saying something. It should be just as valid, in my opinion, but you know what? People don't see it that way, and therefore, Mr. Wilcox, good to see you. I was going to try and make a joke. I can't pull it off, but can you sponsor yourself? The interesting thing is, if you're talking about your own sponsored products, the rules actually are slightly different about what you can and can't do. Like, there's a lot of rules I can breach to promote myself if I want to, like the Geneva Convention. No, I'm just joking. Been watching for the past 3 days non-stop. Love ya, says Alyssa Not Found. Hey, thank you, Alyssa Not Found. That is something that, first of all, I've never seen Elissa as a name, so you're the first Elissa I've like. My brain has never encountered someone called Elissa. Your existence, which I'm not 100% sure you're a real human being, because you can never be sure that anyone besides yourself is real. And even yourself, like, you're only ever going to be pretty sure. But anyway, leaving that aside, the actual point I'm trying to make here very, very badly is that you're the first Alyssa I've ever had any mental interaction with. And that is, you could say, pretty mental. I wouldn't say it's pretty mental. But yeah, this is very ugly. I'm going to just put that there, and then we can argue this is intentional. There we go, perfect. That is art, I think you'll find. That is absolute art. It's a beauty. But yeah, I think it's kind of weird. When you encounter a name that you haven't heard before, there's like a 50-50 between this is the worst thing ever and like, oh, that's kind of nice. And you know, Elissa, I think your name falls into that's kind of nice category. I mean, no offense, it's not like a really nice name. I'm not gonna be like, you know what, my next kid, I mean, not that I have any kids, but my firstborn shall be named after you. Don't care if it's a dude, gonna be calling him Elissa. Wait, it sounds like a pseudonym for someone called like, also I've got this problem where like, when one of my friends broadcasts on Mixer, I get notifications. Does anyone know like why that is? Like it is someone that I know. Very, very, very loosely. But I can't afford a plush, but I can give you taxes. Contrary to you. Oh, that's all cool, man. Again, like in reality, the better way to support the stream is to, you know, tip directly. The plush thing is just there as like if you want a cool piece of ToyCat history. I like to promote it because I want as many people to have that piece of cool ToyCat history as possible. But if you don't want to have it, then I don't want you to have it. Is a loser? I have to get tested for the major illness going around. Kind of scared. I'm mostly sad. I'll miss the stream. Take care, Andrew. First of all, good luck on the test. I am sure you'll be all good. Actually, no, I'm not sure at all because I'm not a medical doctor. That's not how that works.
I'm making a floating quartz castle inspired by your floating village. Also, first ToyCat tax.
Oh, a floating. Okay, first of all, the floating village was so cool, and every time I look at it, I'm like, man, I need to do that. Like that's like a thing I definitely. I don't know when or why or how, but like the idea of a floating village, definitely a must in my head. Second of all, the floating I'm gonna recommend put some villages in your floating castle. It's a hard activity, but it's one that's worth it, in my opinion. Aren't we just brains and skeleton mech suits wearing flesh armor? You know, it's beautiful when you describe humanity that way, isn't it? It really is quite beautiful that is 100% true. Also, I think, yeah, we don't place torches here. We place torches here instead. It's a small mistake to make, but it's an important one to fix. I was the 47th person to buy the plush, so give me something special, says Milo Mantoons. Okay, I'm going to give you the most special thing in the world that I can imagine right now. Mr. Milo Manitoons. The most special thing I can imagine is a ToyCat plush. It'll be on its way ASAP. Yeah. No, it'll be on its way in August, which I guess is not as soon as possible. Like if the whole world was on the line and we had cost was not an objective, you probably could get one before that. But you know I think there's something cool about setting it up so that they all arrive at the same day. To me, was a worthwhile trade-off worth making. Maybe you'll disagree. Oh lord. So how'd you get it so early? Says Electropolar. This is the engineering sample. Again, I think they made like one correction before the final one. I could be wrong about that, but they did actually go through some effort of like making sure it was. You know, there's always quality control processes for, like, anything, I guess. But, like, for this, I tried to make extra sure. I've tipped donated to you and appeared on screen by paying there. It says, oh god, we got a skeleton jockey. Which, if you're curious, is one of the rarest mobs in Minecraft. 1 in 100 chance of spawning. And this is a reminder as to why going through a forest at night is a scary idea. Scary, scary, spooky skeletons. Also, Ranger Rick, thank you for $2. Also, I missed Elisa Not Found says, named after my grandfather. His middle name is Ellis. So you're like, he was Ellis, but it's like, well, you can't call a girl Ellis because that's going to cause some issues later down the line. You know what? Let's call it Elissa. Or Elissa, I guess. Yeah, I guess it's Elissa, like, as opposed to Elissa. You know, Elissa sounds like someone who is like an e-girl, like called, like Alyssa, but like on the internet. Elissa, you know? That's my high quality commentary on this one. Yeah, I think we're definitely gonna go to sleep. Like, doing this in the day without my headphones in is a very bad idea. Lighting up the world makes areas that aren't lit up have more mob spawning Lamouse as Electropolar. Oh yeah, you're totally right. That's the, it's kind of like a double-edged sword that the more we light, the more we concentrate the areas that mobs can spawn into the areas we don't. It's a trade-off, I guess, but it's one with some positive outcomes. A toy cat, nice. It's a toy cat, or it's a toy cat for me, toy cat. It's a cat that is. Also, there should be a bed around here. I feel like there was last time I looked, but you know, daytime's coming anyway. We'll deal with this in the long future that we just pretend won't have to exist anyway. So, yeah, let's place our torch over here next. Placing in a grid is hard, but one of the cool things about doing this project, maybe this is cool, maybe this is sad actually, but I'm getting better at like placing torches in very specific places across my world. Actually, I'm not sure if that is a good thing, but it is a thing, and you can't argue with that. But yeah, good to see you again, G Loudmilk. It's been a while. It has been a while. I'm again. It's nice to see the people exist. Even like on the internet, if you know, like there's always these sad stories about. Oh yeah, I used to have this friend. I still have this friend. I think I mentioned it. I had a guy I met just like the day before Minecraft came out. So when Minecraft came out, we played like the first like 12 hours after my Let's Play was finished. Like I recorded an episode of Let's Play, and then we played Minecraft for like 12 hours together or something. And then also thank you, Demotivational Speaker. Haven't been watching you lately because not into Minecraft, but I've been watching ToyCat sometimes. Love your channel still, especially second channel content. Love ya. Thank you, Demotivational Speaker. Yeah, it's funny how many people say like, yeah, ToyCat. That's where my loyalties lie these days. And you know, I cannot fault or tell people where to subscribe or not to. Actually, I can totally do that. I can tell you to subscribe to IVX ToyCat, and I can tell you that there's a ToyCat only available for the next 24 hours at a makeshift link in the description. I can't say the URL out. It's hard. Thank you to someone else who has just picked one up. Yeah, this is my simping for my plush stream, and it's gonna go great. I place my torches in the same way. It makes it easier to camp when placing huge structures. It is really inefficient. Like, you trade off like ease of placement and like beauty to look at in exchange for doing that, you get a much like you waste double as many torches as you otherwise could. Not quite double, because you'd otherwise have to like patch in some gaps, but pretty much double as many as you otherwise would, which is a pretty big downside, I would say. Maybe just me, maybe not just me. So now let's run back. Let's make sure these are all 6 blocks apart, and then let's do one parallel to the first line, and let's keep this up. So that feel when mods are bullying ToyCat. Oh no, I made you insecure about saying the URL. Ouch, you know. You totally did, and it stung. I don't, again, it's like, it's a really long URL of like 3 bits in it. And saying URLs out loud is so dumb, because no one's gonna ever like take your verbal URL. It's just a way of like, what's the word? Like, you reinforce something, I think. Wish I could say and watch, but I'm hooked on The Legend of Korra. Every time I hear The Legend of Korra, I'm like, is that the Legend of... Like, I get it mixed up with that other, The Legend of something else. You know, not The Legend of Zelda, but The Legend of, like... Is it that show, like, that Aang show, right? Wait. Legend of Korra. It's an animated American series. Oh, it is the Avatar thing. It's just, it's Avatar The Last Airbender, but it's also something different. You know, I don't understand, but what I do understand is that, you know, you can show up wherever you like, Lydia Estrada, and if that means not here, then, you know, I'll just break my heart, shall I? Even Minecraft torches have to social distance. Hey, that is a funny joke of the day. But, I never watched Avatar I never watched Avatar or The Legend of Korra or anything like that. Like, they seemed vaguely interesting to me. But it's kind of going back to that thing I was mentioning about how, like, oh yeah, I was just on TV, and so I watched telesales. I watched people be like, hey, simp for ToyCat plush. They didn't sell ToyCat plushes, or I would have bought one. Actually, I don't know if I would. I'd be like, what is a ToyCat? That sounds really dumb. But one of the interesting things is, like, when you're, like, young, your ability about what you watch and don't watch is so little down to, like, your free will and your decisions. It's more down to, like, if you have an older sibling, you know, or like someone who controls the remote, what they feel like watching, you just have to ingest. And that's like, this sounds dumb to say. And someone's going to be like, well, you know, that's something. But like, I think it really is like one of the biggest infringements of your like ability to be free. The fact that you can't choose what you ingest. That, you know, entertainment, it's one of the things that fundamentally defines us. Like, because, you know, parenting is hard. No one wants to parent their children. This is something we've learned. It's a hard hobby to pick up. Also, ToyCat, stop skipping my donations, says Noah C. Oh, you've got a speedrunning seed. A stronghold is 60-ish blocks away and never block. Oh, sure. Send it to me after the stream's done because I forget things while I'm streaming because I focus on like talking about TV shows or whatever. Why are you placing torches 6 blocks apart, ToyCat? Well, you see, the torches are all... No, I needed to place a bunch of torches, and I didn't know if I needed... Wait, oh, damn it. I can make this joke. I can make it happen. Also, thank you to see you, Mischievous. That's what I'm sticking with. That's how it is. But yeah, so, it's funny, because, like, there's a few shows, like, I wanted to watch and just never did, and now... And, like, you feel like you've missed the boat in some way. And that's, like... It's, like, one of the scariest things, because on YouTube, it's true, too. There are so many people who say, hey, ToyCat, I wish you'd upload videos again. Like, you know, it's a shame. It's a shame you stopped, ToyCat. And it's like, I've uploaded daily, with only, like, 3 exceptions over the last, like, 5 years. I've uploaded daily for so long. People don't get fed those videos by YouTube, like, you know, and, like, no one goes looking out for entertainment because it's, like, it's a relaxing thing. Also, hi, Fortnite says, change my stinky diaper. You know what? You do need your stinky diaper changed. But then, like, it's this realization that you're not in control of what you watch. And I realize it about myself, too. Like, when I'm watching YouTube on my TV, I just want something to play so I can eat my food. You know, like, that's all I'm looking for. I'm just there with a bowl of popcorn or some pizza slices. I had a pizza today. I regret it. I ate too much pizza. But like there's so many there's so many moments in life where you realize that entertainment, because it's like this relaxing thing, and relaxing is just something you want to just do. You want to just get it done and through. Not done and through, but you want to just like do it, you know? I know what I'm trying to say right here, but what I'm trying to say is it's like, it's horrifying when you realize you don't control what you watch, even though you want to. You disapprove and vaguely approve of things. But, as a result, I wanted to watch the Avatar thing, The Legend of Korra, which is apparently a spin-off according to Alina. I don't know any of I don't know any of those details, despite the fact that it looked kind of cool. Because what instead I was doing is, you know, like watching whatever was on whatever TV I was nearby. Which is, again, I feel like your ability to choose what you're influenced by is a part of what makes you you. Like, you know, it's like, you know, like if you look at Twitter or Facebook or YouTube or whatever, you choose channels to subscribe to. And that shows you what comes up on here. Currently can't eat food, so just here for the fun time, says Ulti Mama. You know what? Who's telling you can't eat food? Because I disagree with them. I think that when they say you shouldn't eat food, you need to push back and say, nah, this is not okay. I'll have you know, I did XYZ, you know, fought in Nam, had a child, went to, you know, I'm hungry is a good excuse too. Also, just ordered mine, FFS. I'm a 41-year-old grown man who just ordered a stuffed animal. What's wrong with me? So, I mean, like, okay, calling it, like, I actually did think about this, like, just after I released the campaign as, like, oh, yeah, ToyCat, like, because it's a plush thing, there's going to be some percentage of people who are just like, oh, yeah, I like your channel, ToyCat, but the idea of a plush seems dumb to me. But I feel like that's like, to me, it's like a collection piece. Like it's not a thing I'm gonna play with every day and be like, hello, I'm IBX ToyCat, and I'm the YouTuber. Look, I'm the, you know, I'm not like, I see people who like to do that with their animals, and like I just want to be like, chill down. I know you're like 7 years old, but like you need to like, you know, calm. You know, it's a whole thing. But also, the last Endbender is amazing. Korra is mediocre at best. You know what? I'm gonna tell the person who left me for Legend of Korra, I'm gonna tell them to get out of there. But yeah, the out of context, like that. I feel like this is definitely more of like a collection piece. You put it somewhere in your you know, your life. Or you don't. You put it in a box somewhere and you hope it, and you hope that you care about it in the future. No, actually, I think that's a terrible reason to buy it. I mean, I'm a bad telesales person. But, yeah, I really feel like, I feel like in the case of this one, it's not a thing you buy as a plush necessarily. It's like, the plush is just a particularly cutesy way to do an item, in my opinion. Or maybe you disagree. Maybe you think it totally is the thing, but I think that it isn't. I'll pay you £100
Hey
to...
chat, join us in counting as high as we can in the chat. Let's go ToyCat tax.
Let's go, ToyCat. Also, my favorite kind of tea, Sano Dark. So, okay, can I tell you about, let's mention this as, like, rich people problems. Because it's not one that comes up very often in my life, besides when I'm, like, masquerading as a rich person. But, like, because, like, most of my interactions where I want to drink in life, I'm just like, give me water. Water's not available. Give me some orange juice, you know, like, or like if it's like, you know, like, or like maybe a Coke Zero, and some, you know, like it's pretty easy in most interactions when people ask what I want to drink. Every now and then I don't know why this is a thing. Like it's on trains, it's on planes, and it's in a few other places where they're like, tea or coffee? Would you like any tea or coffee, governor? You know, that's what people say in that accent. That's how we all speak here. Although, actually, the last people who asked me was Delta Airlines, which is American, but leave that to the side. So, like, there's this, like, people ask, tea or coffee? And then I say, tea, I guess. Because, like, you know, I might as well have some fun. Try a drink that might wake me up on a, you know, if I've been on a super long flight or something. And then they'll be like, what type of tea? And I have to be like, and then my answer, because you know, what I do with tea, this is my favorite type of tea. You take any tea type in the world, or like whatever British default tea is. I think it's English Builder, but it might just be breakfast tea. No, it's either breakfast or Builder. I don't know the difference. But I take regular tea. It tastes awful by itself. I put 5 sugars in there, and then it tastes like sugar water, and it's caffeinated. It's delicious. So what's my favorite type of tea? Any tea with 5 sugars. But my favorite type of tea, if you can't have sugar, is green tea. So I once made the mistake of like asking for green tea, and then I put a bunch of sugar in there, and that is the worst. I committed a crime against tea-manity. Tea-manity. Again, I'm gonna try better on my puns. I'm sorry. I've disappointed you, ladies and gentlemen of the toy chat. I need that plushie, says Brandy Rust. The good news is you can still pick one up for just a few more days over at ibx.toycat.makeship. You know, it's linked down in the description. Humanity. But yeah, I'm not like a big tea drinker, and I know that's like a crime living in the UK. But tea is just not like, tea is just hot water. I was gonna say sugar water, but like most people don't have it as much sugar as I do. Oh wait, someone Nady Quintero says I don't know why people have tea with milk. It's disgusting. Oh no, milk tea is delicious. If you've never... So, one of my favorite things, like, this is a... I know this is a British thing, but, like, Asia does it better. Hong Kong milk tea is, like, the objectively best drink in the world. I have yet to see something come close to Hong Kong milk tea. Also, hey ToyCat, and I remember it says Sharks332. Oh, Shark Boy! That's your name from now on. You know... I have to double down on my mistake, otherwise I'll never forget. So thank you, Mr. Shark Boy. I do remember you. The capitalization in ToyCat is really bothering me. Yeah, this is one of those like style guide things I don't really know the answer to. Like, do you think... So chat, let's solve this right now. You can make a decision that'll affect the rest of time, friends. How do you spell ToyCat? With a capital C or without? Because I always think it's all non-caps. But if you can convince me that it should be with a capital C, we can officially change the spelling to be ToyCat, capital C. With or without. Oh, okay, chat, this is coming close. This is an important one. This decides the future of the ToyCat brand. ToyCat is the correct spelling, says David Solomano. No capital C, says Lynn Khan. ToyCat with capital Y, says David Solomano. There's always one. Always one. Which it's something I've always hated as a phrase, because you know there's always more than one. You know, being individual shouldn't be a limited to one person thing. ToyCat. The majority of people say ToyCat or lowercase. It looks like. Okay, so it's ToyCat, or lowercase. Although if you put the other one in capitals, it clarifies you're talking about the plush and not something else. You know, there's some room for confusion, I'll admit. But outside that room for confusion, we seem to agree on something now, chat. That is good news. It is good to say. So, you know what, chat? We just made history together. We just came up with how you spell IBX ToyCat. It's all... I was going to say all lowercase. It's all the opposite of lowercase. No, it's all lowercase, actually. Yeah. Except IBX. IBX is always in capitals. That's my room for a thing. Also, data of asking ToyCat to change his follow sign. Picks up Kazoo. Hey, thank you, Shark Boy, for the £1.21. It's very kind of you. You know, I remember Shark Boy. Shark Boy was less insistent. Shark Boy is not. Now I know you're not the same person. You know, he had bigger tips as well. He cared more about the support man. I don't know what I'm doing here. What I do know is that yeah, today I ate too much pizza and just like immediately took a nap, and then I woke up, and then there was this like weird dumb thing on the stream where everyone's like, haha, I have devised a funny thing. What if we like dislike the stream and then it'll be funny? And I was like, what, who, you know, like what is the definition of prank you've been using? What is the definition of like funny? Because I feel like I always, every now and then you see this, like there's an attempt to be like, what if we do something, you know, like it, you know, in this case it's like obviously it's a you know, like I guess mean isn't quite the words, because like disliking the video doesn't hurt me too much directly, but what it does is it has this like knock-on impact of like, oh yeah, when people see the video they're gonna wonder why it's so disliked, and they're perhaps gonna assume that it's not all above board, and it's like, oh, now I just have to deal with some extra like stuff like that. There's this funny thing where people, I guess it's really easy to just like do it. It's much easier to do a dumb thing than to do a smart thing, and so it seems most things that happen as a result and tend to be pretty dumb. And it's kind of like a sad thing that like you expect. It's like you know, I'm not mad, I'm disappointed moment, but it really is. Whenever something like this happens, I'm like, oh yeah, I think as a collective, we have like one of the coolest groups of people on YouTube. And I don't say that as like I'm flattering you. Like, to prove this, like, you know, middle finger to you. I hate you all. I hope that you die in your sleep tonight. But like, I also think that we have sometimes we have much higher brow conversations than you can expect in the Minecraft world. Usually the Minecraft world is just like, hey, I think the Nether update is cool. I think that you know, I think that building is fun, and that, you know, like the 1.9 combat is bad. Like that's as highbrow as you get in most, you know, parts of YouTube. And I thought it was kind of cool that like we had you know, like we actually can have like much more in-depth, fun, philosophical, if you want to call it that, discussions. And so whenever I like see something super dumb, I'm like, oh. There's also some real dumb-ums in here. You know, it's like, it's a reminder that no matter where you're on the internet, YouTube comments, like, no matter how good YouTube comments are, they're always going to be YouTube comments, you know? It's a combination of, like, the internet is a place. Also, that torch is incorrectly placed. The internet's this, like, place where if you, because of the way it like filters for various things, I think this is true for any group of people. Every group of people, as a collective, can be smart and can be dumb, because there are individuals who are both incredibly intelligent and well thought out, etc. And there are people who are just like saying words that they don't even fully think through. Like this is something fascinating to me. Like I guess it's like, some people call it stream of consciousness or something. But I think some people are a step below stream of conscious, or maybe they're saying they're stream of conscious, but their stream of conscious sucks. But it's like, people say things that come to their heads, even when they don't agree with those things. Like, if you can't even make like an argument for something you believe in or don't believe in, then It's something I see all the time, and it's fascinating. Also, ToyCat, it's very much yes. Thank you, Irmgul. And also, thank you, Benjamin Hernandez. Hi, ToyCat, been watching your channel since
Hey ToyCat, I've been watching your channel since I was in middle school. When you could craft notch apples. Your channel has gotten me through the good and bad. Keep up the wacky fun conversations.
Hey, thank you, Benjamin Hernandez. I'm glad. I think it's crazy how many people say they've been watching since early age, and I'm like, whoa. I never realized at the time I had, like, people who watched from those age groups. Like, I always thought the youngest we ever had was, like, you know, like, early teen, and even then I didn't think it was a high proportion. But, like, then other people say, like, oh, yeah, I have grown up since, you know, like, that was a long time ago. I am now insert age here. It makes me realize, like, whoa, people age, huh? And then it makes me wonder, like, you know, how does that affect the nouns? But anyway, what I'm trying to say is, thank you for sticking with me all this time. Like, I know you're thanking me for, like, you know, being here, doing it, different forms of discussion or whatever. But really, like, without the people who choose to show up every video or stream or whatever else, like, that's the only reason the channel is possible. Like, you know, sometimes you haven't watched the channel in forever, and when you return, it's like, it's changed. It's like a whole different thing. The only reason there is, like, a channel to return to is because people, you know, like, because people have been supporting and watching the whole time in the meantime. Because what kills channels is not that people don't care about them in the general sense, is that people don't care about them in the moment, you know? Like, oh yeah, I know there are some YouTubers that I watch once a year just to check on how they're doing, but that's not enough to sustain a thing. So the people who are like, yeah, I want to have this be part of my thing every X amount of time, it's a rare thing, but it's a nice thing. Speaking of rare but nice, thank you, Frozen Smokes. What's the story behind those chunks? Also, any news of a Nether reset option? They're definitely not adding a Nether reset to Bedrock. You can manually do one on the Java, and a lot of people have said they would. I think it's a bad idea personally, but I mean, I think that lots of things are bad ideas, but that doesn't stop me doing them. So yeah, we're gonna drop the white wool, and we're gonna pick up the banner, I think, or a crossbow. You know, the banner's worth more than a arrow, I think. There we go. But so yeah, the destroyed chunks. I remember it was like 2013 or something. I was just like, it would look kind of cool if I destroyed an entire chunk. And so what I did, get this, I destroyed an entire chunk. It was fun. I put too much work into my Nether, says Alina Khan. Yeah, that's my same kind of thing. Like, why would you want to, like, reset all of the progress that you know, worked into the Nether or the, you know, like, the same with the end. Like, if they gave me the option to reset my end now, I wouldn't reset it. Back when I played console and I knew I might reset my Nether, I never did big projects. So, like, but one of the cool relieving things about switching to Bedrock was like, oh yeah, now I can do big projects and not fear that I'm just going to delete them one day. Like, wanting to delete your Nether on a short-term survival world, like, why does it matter? Just make a new one. On a long-term world, you shouldn't want to. That's my high-quality suggestion. You know, that's how it is. Also, all that blue ice. Yeah, right. If you have like a Nether highway of some form, it's crazy. Also, despite the random insulting mass groups, your streams are very intellectual and beneficial for many people. I let my daughter watch when she understands sarcasm. I'm always cautious about telling anyone, like, who is young to watch, because in these streams, I'm restrained with my language, because when I do swear, I think it's a lot more powerful. But I also think you can't. Is there another pillager raid in the same spot? We just found another one. Huh. So there is. Guess we'll kill this one too, huh? But even though, like, I'm pretty restrained swearing for the sake of that, I can never, like, make the promise that I will never swear, you know? Like, that's like, ooh, oh, about that one. And especially that I will never talk about, like, hey, so did you know that if you touch the inside of your butt, it might feel good? There's a, you know, like, if I say something like that as a joke, I don't want there to be, like, an 8-year-old who's like, ToyCat, what are you saying? Or, like, someone's parents being like, ToyCat, my son decided to stick a spoon in their rear end, and I think it's all your fault. And it's like, well, they shouldn't be watching. But don't stick spoons in your rear end, friends. It's not a good idea. you might think that like, oh yeah, that's ToyCat said it as a joke, which means that it must be real. No, it's definitely not, I assure you. Okay, but this made me laugh way too hard, says Sean Hart. I'm glad. But yeah, so great advice. Now the great advice is not to stick it in there, just to clarify. No spoons in any body parts. Spoons are for ice cream, you know. I guess I'm not gonna imply that anything is for body parts. Anyway, you know what is for body parts though? The IBX, ToyCat. Wait. No, not gonna say that set of words. I'm old enough to do what I want with my spoons. Thank you very much. You know what? That's why I like the kind of disclaimer of like, whatever you do, don't tell your children to watch my stream. Unless you like, if you don't mind them being exposed to the world of humor and sarcasm and stuff like that, which I think is like, I think it's good. If you can understand that sometimes people say things with their words that they don't really mean. Like, it blows my mind that some people still can't do this in a conversation. Like, some, you know, I was talking about this earlier, but like, there are people who literally can't speak non-literally. They can only speak in things that exist. Wish I could reset my end because I can't find elytras. You know, I'll help you out. You might consider this cheating, but it's a useful tool if you're wondering like where your entities are, because some people get really unlucky. Go to, I think it's like chunkbase.com, and they've got like a searcher that allows you to find where the elytras are in your world. ToyCat, don't stick a spoon up your dollar bill. You know, don't. Also, did I miss Commander White? Oh, notice Mother Russia. Oh, what is Mother Russia saying? I should notice her. You know, the mother of an entire country, especially one as big as Russia. I've been watching a Russian show recently. I'll have you know, Mother Russia. She's going to mature a little bit more first, but if she gets to watch some of the pre-rolled stuff, I've watched it first. That's awesome. I like that. I think that's, again, I like the idea of, you know, previously, like, parents could show, you know, people their, like, favorite TV shows. I like the idea that you could show someone your favorite YouTuber, because it's like a person. Like, before now, the way adults interact with children is usually like, ooh, get you, boo, who's a cute little sack of, you know, like, financial drain on their parents. But, you know, like, I like the idea that as a child you can choose whether adults speak to you for real or in code garbage, you know? I always speak to, like, this is one of my biggest flaws. Whenever I speak to children in real life, I speak to them like they're human beings. And, like, half the time they appreciate it, and half the time they're just like, I'm sorry, sir. You know, why are you telling me? Actually, wait, you can't imply that you say that to children. I definitely don't. I want to clarify. But, like, half the time they're, like, you know, really on board of, like, being actually spoken to as opposed to spoken, like, at in dumb terms. And half the time, not that I speak to many children, I should clarify also. You know, this is a train wreck. But, I'm just like, yeah, I feel like most people are like, oh, it's nice that we can have a real wordy conversation with our, you know, using our words to do stuff. But yeah, going back to the thing I was saying before, this is why I hate talking to children. Yeah, right. Well, I have like a 6, maybe 8, maybe 10-year-old brother, like somewhere in that ballpark. And like recently I asked like, oh, so how far are you meant to stay away from other human beings, Harry? And he's like, he was like silent because he didn't like react to real people questions. You got to ask him like dumb ones. But I think it's important to like learn to have conversations with people, because this is generally my like, because this is the Turing test we do on robots to see if robots are like sufficiently realistic. If the robot can actually produce like information that we have not put in, it's one of the tests. It's not all of the tests, but once something can have its own independent thought, I think this is how we test monkeys, right? Like we still to this day cannot get a single animal. Harry, what's the square root of 121? Right, maths problems, it's a lot of fun. But like, if the thing we determine, like, when we can speak to monkeys, but monkeys will only ever answer our questions that we ask them. They never, like, independently come up with things. It's just like, we say a thing, and if they know the answer, they'll answer it. But they never ask us questions and stuff like that, and that's why we don't really have conversations with monkeys. Like, we can train monkeys to answer our questions, but we can't train a monkey to tell us what it's like to be a monkey. This is, like, something we're pretty sure is, like, independent to the human mind. Also, it's great to see you again, Nara. I hope you can stay longer too. Also, good luck on finding those lecturers, the motivational speaker. And also, I am enjoying my evening. Like this, love. I'm sorry I missed your things. I was deep in thought, apparently. Okay, we're gonna avoid where the trees are bare. I might leave that untorched for now, but instead, let's do this. I think I'll place soul torches in the woods. That could be kind of cool. We might do that. I volunteer at kids activity group, and I can still never forget how I should talk to them. I think it's because, like, you know, like, when someone's an adult, we all treat each other the same age. But until you're literally, like, 16 or something. I don't know what the actual age is. But it's like, how do people talk to you? That's something that your parents, like, determine for you, right? Like, so much of your, like, this is... I get that this makes sense, and it's probably still the most equitable thing we can do. But I still think it's crazy how much of your life depends on how good your parents are. Because people like to act like the biggest... You know, because one of the things that does determine how successful a child will be is their parents' like financial status to some extent. But I think the far bigger thing than your parents' like, you know, monetary means is like how much they care about raising a human being versus how much they just got bored 20 years ago and like, you know, how long a walk it was to the, you know, to the anti-baby clinic. That's always been my take on these things. Hello, ToyCat says it's Austin.
Hello,
YT.
ToyCat.
Hello, Mr. Austin. Or it's Austin. Also, Project Moonboot, good to see you here. I'm assuming that's Murphy running the account. I don't know for sure if it is. You know, thank you, gigantic entity. Thank you for your praise. If you haven't seen my delightful ToyCat, look at this thing. Isn't it the cutest? Don't you want one for your desk? I bet you do. That's why you go to makeshift.com/collection/featured/products/IBX ToyCat and get yourself one right now. We got 8 more sold since the last time I mentioned that, so I'm going to keep on simping for this, because if I don't simp, who will? Look, you can move its legs, you can go like this, look how cute this is. He's flying, and he's out of screen. I think the reality is like, so many parents do not care, like, about, you know, their, I think having, like, even just, like, looking after a child fundamentally is such a hard task that then, you know, making sure that it's, like, a good human being. Because making sure that, like, a child, you know, making sure that a human being survives is, like, a hard enough task to do by yourself. Like, if you're turning 16, 18, like, if you're turning an age where you have to soon be looking after yourself. Should we break this wood right here? I don't know why it's not broken already. But if right now you're turning an age where you have to be looking after yourself, have you seen how much rent costs? That's just surviving, right? That's the cost to not be dead, you know, not be homeless every month. Have you seen how much it costs to buy food? You go to the store and you're like, oh, it's like food's incredibly cheap. We live in the point in history where food is the cheapest. But despite that fact, we like types of foods that are expensive. Like you can live on like a fraction of $1 a day, but most of us don't live on that. Have you seen how expensive food can be because of how fickle we are as human beings and how much we like the expensive food more than the non-expensive food? Rent is absurd in and around London, says Carrie-Anne McGlone. Yeah, I can attest to that one. I do know. It's not the craziest in the world, but it's very close. It's a lot closer than people give it credit for. That's for sure. Like when people talk about their rent, I'm always like, well, you know, I assure you it gets higher in my neck of the woods. Look at me using delightful urban phrases. But anyway, my point was smoked salmon, says Ultimama. I love smoked salmon so much. It's so good. It's the best, but it's £4. Like the packs I buy sometimes, it's like £7.50 a pack. I once got accused of stealing from a Tesco, actually, because I walked out with like 2 giant things of salmon in my hands, just like this, and the security guard was like, "Hey, did you pay for those?" And I was like, "I did." And I was expecting a whole thing, and he's just like, "Oh, okay." And it's like, that's the security system Tesco has. They ask loudly, "Did you pay for it?" And you just gotta say yes. Pro tip, at least in my area. Again, at the time I was living in like a pretty old area. So maybe they just assumed that someone's a grandkid. And, you know, people's grandkids don't commit crimes. Only people's actual kids. You can get free for £10 from co-op. You know, I need to go to my nearest co-op ASAP. Is your rent almost 3k for a 1-bedroom, buddy? Where do you live where that is a fact, Alina? If you want to live in Zone 1 London, which like, even right now, I think I could be wrong. I don't want to say this without clarification, but I heard someone say this is an off bit, and I realized that if I did like, if you take a YouTuber that's doing, let's say, double as well as me, I think they make more than the President of the United States. Like, literally, like, that level of income, and it's like, oh yeah, you still can't afford to live in a 1-bed in Zone 1 of London. Like, even if you significant, like, if the President of the United States of America can't live in a, you know, like, the leader of the free world, arguably the most important position we could pay someone to do, right? If that position is one that you, if that's a position that you, you know, you can't afford a thing, that's a good sign that it's expensive, right? It's been a while since I looked up the salary of the president. I think it's like low 6 digits, right? Which is good, but again, good luck, you know, after taxes and whatnot. Which I guess actually, you know what? Does the president pay taxes? Because it seems dumb if he does. I'm gonna have to look into this. This is a thing I need to know for the future. But so glad I live in a 3-bed in Scotland. Every time I look into Scottish house prices, I'm just like shocked that like, oh yeah, it's just like a normal amount of money. You know, you throw together a couple grand and you got yourself, you know, a deposit for a house, or like a flat at the very least. It seems nice, you know, it seems like a nice world to live in, where you can actually afford to live in the houses in your areas. It seems unrealistic, seems like some fantasy world. Like, nope, that's not how houses work. Houses are these multi-million-pound investments, I'll have you know. Damn, says Galil HD. Hello, Galil HD. Are you named after the gun in Call of Duty Black Ops? If so, nice. If not, you know what? It's okay. We can't all be perfect. But the president is paid $400,000 and pays taxes. See, chat. Wait, I've got a real question for you. Do you think that the president or prime minister of a country should pay taxes? Yes or no? Because bear in mind, their money comes from taxes, right? Their money comes from the taxation of oh god, my Elytra is broken. You're right, Pygo. Yes, he's a citizen. Yes. Because like the weird thing about like it, I know that it makes sense for like solidarity reasons, but the weird thing about taxing like people who are paid out of the taxes of other people is that when you raise taxes, you're effectively lowering. If you get what I'm saying here, so if let's say taxes are like 20%, we're talking about taxes because this is exciting. I know it's the top level discussion that you can have. But if you pay 10% taxes, then you know you earn $400,000 a year, just for a hypothetical, right? Then you pay $40,000, but your $400,000 comes from the taxes of other people, and the $40,000 that you pay can effectively pay part of your salary because your money comes from taxes and you pay taxes, right? You get what I'm saying? So if you raise taxes by 10%, so it's, you know, or let's just say you raise them 50%. You're a full-on, you know, commie who believes that private property shouldn't be the domain of anyone. So you charge people 90% taxes. Now it costs you less. Like there are fewer things you have to spend taxes on because people now pay for their own salary via their taxes, right? Like if let's say there's over a 50% top tax rate, which some countries have, like in France it was 75 at one point. If you have a 75% tax rate, you pay 3/4 of your own salary if you're a public employee. Which is dumb because it effectively just means you're getting paid 1/4 of it. But it's also like, you get what I'm saying? It's just, whatever. I find taxes interesting. No one else does. I'm going to stop talking about them before I alienate the few people who don't. We should have a high sales tax and no others, says the motivational speaker. I hear this argument made a lot in the libertarian space, I think. That we should only have, like... Because the idea of paying income tax is a really, 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 really shit one. Because you're telling people, you know, what you do as a government, the levers you have is you can tell people what you want them to do more or less of by taxing it. We tax alcohol and cigarettes, and as a result, you can, you know, when you smoke or when you drink, you pay the government money, and you know it kind of like the negative damage you're doing to society is kind of paid off by that. If you're going to do negative damage to yourself and to others, which is arguably what you do with both those things, you pay a tax, right? The thing about like if you have if you do decide that like, oh yeah, we're going to tax income, you're effectively saying, let's try and discourage people from making income. Except in reality, because everyone wants to make money because it's a fundamental need for being alive, you're not discouraging people so much. But the higher you raise income tax, the more people go, I'm less excited to earn money. Because like if you knew that you were putting overtime at work, you were going to make an extra $10 for the next hour or $20 or something. I don't know how overtime works in America, I'm going to be honest with you. But you were going to make $20, you'd be like, yeah, I'm going to... Like, you wouldn't hurt yourself, but you would be willing to do more for it. But if you knew that, like, oh yeah, 90% of that, or even just 51% of that is going to the government. In the UK, our tax rate is 42 or 47%. Then you'd be like, I don't know. Trump donates his pay every quarter to various groups and orgs, but he probably gets to write that off too. Yeah, that's one of the things that no one pays any attention to. Like, people talk about like corrupt politicians all the time, but as I've heard this fact before, that it's like a big like PR gesture. The president pays like all of his income besides $1 to charities. I don't know what they actually are. Like, could be his own thing. But the idea of not spending public money on him being a president, it's a nice concept, right? I think it's like, it's one of... Oh, this torch is incorrectly placed. There's no way this is right. So let's break both these torches. Let's find where they're actually meant to be. But yeah, it's one of those like one of those small things, I guess, that I'm trying to say is that the... Oh, okay. Let's hop over. It's pretty hot here, by the way. I'm gonna say something dumb. Someone's gonna be like, oh, ToyCat, did you endorse the U.S. president by saying that it's cool that he did one thing? And it's like, it is sad that you can't say a single positive thing about someone being like, oh, so what you're saying is you like it? It's like, no, it's nice to take, to be like, oh yeah, you guys hate paying politicians. How about I make it so that you're not paying me with your taxes, because my taxes go towards... I guess actually you are still paying... You're indirectly paying for charities or whatever organizations. It's him, right? Promoting the ToyCat and the Toy Chat, says Alcazar. I like that. It's like... Oh, God. Oh! I thought the stream crashed, but we're back. What just happened? Everything, like, froze for a second. Am I alive? Hello? Say pineapples if you know where I am. Am I here? Oh, wait, know that I'm here. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Whew. I'm gonna take a drink of water because it's hot. Okay, we got pineapples in the chat. I'm still alive. I wonder where I was. I kind of vanished. It was very strange. Okay, so hello, I'm IBX ToyCat. Welcome back to another live stream on the internet. I wanted to go back to the guy who said, so we should only have a sales tax. But the only problem with a sales tax is, sales tax is also, like, because it's called a VAT in the UK and most countries that do it, value-added tax, because you don't pay it on, whatever, I won't dive into why it's VAT right now. No wants to hear about taxes. But the reason that you generally don't advocate for that, even though it's much fairer, because you can choose to pay for things and to buy things, you can't choose to have an income. It's required for your survival. The government literally taxes you on something that is required for your livelihood, Like, people are always talking about, like, oh yeah, what's the best way, the government could, help out those making the least. And it's like, by stealing less of their money. That's like step one, right? Like, taking away money from people who literally can't afford to feed themselves, probably a bad way to fund a government. Anyway, so the problem with sales tax is it's regressive because the richer you get, the fewer things you buy, the more you just invest in things. Like the majority of the money I make, I don't spend on things. My mortgage payment is my largest single expense, which is not buying a thing. It's like paying off a loan I made to the bank. But you can't really tax it because it's not really buying a thing. Maybe you could tax the original house purchase, and some places do that, but it's a whole separate thing. Game sound is out of sync. Yeah, probably because of the... Like, everything crashed for a second, so one sec. Hello, Internet. How are you doing? I fixed the sink. Let's start a ToyCat mortgage fund. But yeah, the single biggest thing I spend money on is mortgage. Then it's probably my disastrous. Actually, when I'm like in months where I'm traveling, then it's travel stuff. Like I buy a lot of flights and hotels and whatnot to be able to travel. And then after that, it's like food and like I pay X amount a year to be able to go skiing indoors and climbing indoors. But it's like most of those things aren't things. Travel is the closest thing to a thing that you can tax, etc. Things get weird. Anyway, Mischievous, how many plushies?
How many plushies are too many? I might have bought 3.
Okay, first of all, thank you, Mischievous, for being proud owner of free ToyCats. Second of all, actually thank you for existing in the general sense and helping support these streams. I don't say it enough, but I do appreciate it a lot. And third of all, let's just throw these seeds in there. Let's actually go empty our inventory for the first time in forever. My inventory is a mess. Let's fix that, shall we? Did you go climb a mountain yet? Says Hal Hates Demons. My plan is to do that tomorrow. Today I went and I climbed a tree. I had a great time. So Cat, you missed the simping. We're chatting about finances. You're right. You know the reason that I have my finances in order, the reason that I have them all set up the way that I do, is because I need to buy myself some ToyCat plushes. Wow, where do I buy these ToyCat plushes that are only available for 24 hours, ToyCat? Really, they're only available for 24 hours. Wow, that seems pretty urgent that I go there right now. Well, if you go to makeshift.com/, it's simpler to click the link in the description. Then what you can do is you can pick one up for absolutely free. Asterisk, it's not free, you have to pay money. It's about $25 plus another $7 international shipping. But, for absolutely free asterisks, you can pick up a ToyCat at makeshift.com/collection/featured/products/IBX ToyCat. And if you do so, it'll be kind of great. But no, yeah, that's why you need your finances in order. What states have you been to? Says Clarissa D. It takes too long to name them because I've been to too many now. But east to west, Massachusetts, New York, Virginia, Illinois, Florida when I was like 5, so it doesn't actually count, but people count that because it's apparently the same me. Me as a 5-year-old had no opinions worthwhile, but whatever, I still count as a human being in some people's heads. Also, thank you very much to James Iguenes. This is the simping I came here for. I will do nothing but simp for the ToyCat. Again, all I want is if you want one of these in your life, if you don't want them, I can't convince you to buy something you don't want. But if you want one, I need the message to be out there that now is your last 24 hours. So Cat, we already liked the hug from last stream. Can we get another hug today? You know what? You've been a bad chat today. You don't deserve hugs. That's my official stance on this one. I went to Missouri. I've been to Colorado, Utah, California, New Mexico, Arizona, and Nevada. Nevada. That's how you say it in America. I don't know why you gotta say Nevada. It's clearly Nevada, but apparently that's weird. I hope you enjoy my American accent too. I try my best. It's very realistic. I really sound like I'm American, I know. What's the stats on moving to Vegas, says Trey Sheehy. The stats is still... Right now, I have to go through the loophole of going to a third country, which has to be, again, the only one that right now is viable is Turkey and potentially Mexico. I'm really hoping I'm not going to book anything right now because in the next 2 months, I'm hoping that America lifts the ban on Europe. Again, the only problem is, there is a person who is in charge of a certain country. I'd like to be the guy who's like, oh yeah, you know who's bad? The Orange Man. Oh, everyone support me. I said it good. But, I feel like you can't criticize. You can't just be like, oh yeah, every single wrong thing in my life is because of this one person. Because, no matter who the one person is, it's probably not. There's very few things that can be simplified down to one cause, one person. Because we have a world where things are deliberately decentralized. Especially America is the definition of a country that is decentralized. But, as a result of current US government policy, I cannot enter the US. And I was expecting that to change, but this is like an election year for current news president. And one of the few things that like all Americans can get on board with is like, you know what? Either like half of people hate foreigners, half people hate the coronavirus. Link the two together, and you've got yourself like a vote-winning policy. I will get rid of the corona stuff by banning those corona countries. Asterix, we have the highest number of cases in the world, but I'm still going to ban the UK because it's not like there are British people with ties to America that need to go there or anything. No, that's not a thing that exists. There you go. There's my rant. I hope you enjoyed it. Nevada is actually a Spanish word. It's pronounced Nevada, which means snowy, or Nevada. I don't know. Like Nevada to me sounds like the way I'm saying it. It does sound like I did assume it was Spanish because I know Las Vegas is like Spanish for the mountain, I think it is, or the hill. It's Spanish for something dumb. No offense. More ToyCat rants. Fun fact: Wikipedia is banned in Turkey. Fun fact: I think Turkey was looking at banning Minecraft at a certain point. I don't think they ever went through with it, but they were intending to ban Minecraft, which is like in reality, like everyone liked to be like, oh, it's because it was such a violent game. I think it's just a thing of like banning cultural exports of other countries. But ToyCat, can you give us all a virtual hug? You know what? You've convinced me. When Mother Russia says it, I don't know about that. But when you say it, no hug. You gotta deserve a hug, chat. You gotta convince me that you're worthwhile for one. Also, I can only off my super chats. I am cheap, sorry, says Nara. You know what? Your super chats are the thing that keep my mental spirit alive. ToyCat's nice enough to be Canadian. Again, even Canada has the same policy though. That's why, like, you might, even though we can simplify it down to like America, like a lot of countries are choosing to do the same policy. Because the reality is, people who live in your borders vote for you. People who don't live in your borders don't vote for you. And it's always going to be a vote-winning idea to sacrifice those who live within your borders. Sacrifice those who don't live in your borders at the expense of those who do. Hug us, ToyCat. You know what? Here's a nice hug. Are you enjoying this, chat? Look how cute and wholesome that hug was. Hope you enjoyed it. ToyCat's idea of American accents, just say y'all as many times as possible. Y'all don't understand what a real American accent sounds like, y'all, because the thing is that y'all gotta realize that y'all is not the only thing you say. It's just the biggest crutch word. You put on a mild cowboy accent. You speak from the front of the mouth. Nothing comes from the throat. It all comes out in the mouth itself. And then you say y'all, because y'all gotta understand. It's interesting, actually, to me that, like, y'all, like, the word y'all, y'all, y'all. It's definitely y'all, not y'all. Like, it's a word that's incredibly used in, like, places I don't know, like, it's like you know how, like, Scottish people on the internet speak in their accents? I feel like people who say y'all on the internet, they know what they're doing. Like, they're entirely aware. I actually hug my screen because I'm lonely. Yeah, I feel like right now, we probably have the highest amount of loneliness we've ever had as a species. Like, we might be living in the loneliest time of humans. I do not, says Auti Mama. Yeah, that is a thing that is notable. You prove that it is possible to not speak in a Scottish accent. And also, like, I have a lot of 4J friends who are obviously in Scotland. They all speak in, like, it's a thing people do to be cutesy, right? Like, you're deliberately showing you're from a place with an accent by speaking in the accent online. It's like if I said YouTube with a ch instead of a t, because I'm making fun of myself. But, like, anyway, I don't get what I'm saying right now. What I'm saying is that we probably live in the most lonely time in history, because we were already, like, pretty isolated before this. Like, we're living in a place where more and more people, like, are choosing, like, I guess the idea of being social is, like, less and less common, popular, whatever phrase you want to use. And then on top of, like, on top of world where that was building anyway, like, we can tell from depression rates, we can tell from, because, like, it seems really dumb that we require human interaction. And I, as someone who hates humans, I despise that this is hardwired into me. Like, I would be so much happier as an individual if I could just be like, oh yeah, you know what? all this human stuff. Never again. But like, it's actually, you know, like essential that we talk to stuff. Like, so we can tell based on depression rates, because, and not just depression, but like, you know, social isolation stuff. You can tell based on that because as humans, we are a social species. You know, humans need humans. We need each other a surprising amount. It doesn't seem like we should, but yet we do. And now we're literally being told, like, and we're already pretty like hesitant to like as a generation, as a world, a country, whatever. To we were already having a we were already kind of like doing it by ourselves, and now it's official government advice to like ignore other human beings. Other human beings are bad. They will give you infections, or you'll give them infections, or you know, if you infect them, you'll overwhelm the NHS, or you know, whatever your government advice says. Also, Alberta is the Texas of Canada because oil. Ontario is the California of Canada because population, and Quebec is the Florida of Canada because they're different from the rest of the country. I'd say Quebec is like the Puerto Rico of Canada. Like, is it really even the same thing? Sort of, I guess, technically. You know, do people want it to be there? Well, that's something you see a lot of varying opinions on. Actually, I guess that is more like Florida. Like, you know, there is no place. My hatred for, you know, let's not bring out the Canada talk too early. You know, this is something we need to be like 12 drinks in before we can discuss in full coherent detail. But okay, we place a thing there. How nice. Hello, live stream, says Sophisticated BOT. Hello, Mr. Sophisticated BOT. Also, I keep missing your messages, Mo Russia. I see people, some people respond to you, but it's fine. Loneliness feels horrible. It's a physical pain also. You've said before you're an extroverted person. For most extroverted people, you don't feel physical, you don't feel pain. Like, I would describe myself as like an introvert. Oh God, we need to stop flying places. I would describe myself as probably like an introvert who doesn't need, like, who realizes that under like specific circumstances, being social is actually very fun and essential. Like there are certain things that I've realized are just more fun with other people. I wish I hadn't realized that. My life would be better off if I was unaware. But it's, you know, you can't change the way things be, huh? I did a personality test and got a 98% introverted. I guess that's about right. I want to do a personality test and see how intro or extroverted I am now. I mean, not that I think a test can prove that. Because again, like, my whole life I've described myself as introverted just because I hate people. Like, get out. Like, the vast majority of human beings are not worth your time. And that is like, it's like, either you have to, like, people will make you sound like a dick when you say stuff like that. But it's just like, well, you know, some people, I think like the way personality types mesh, etc., 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 means that like that's a realistic thing. I don't hate people. I sometimes take the controversial stance that I think most human beings are good and try to do good things. Like I saw I'm watching this weird Russian Netflix show. It's about some robot that's super realistic. I don't even know. Damn you humans. The thing I was trying to say is that, like, I was watching this show, and in the show they had this like crossing. So like, you know, when you're driving a car and you have to stop for pedestrians, they had like a laser thing. So like there was like this big laser light that said stop, do not cross. And when you look at it, you're like, the person I was watching it with said, I don't understand why people don't just cross that. And the interesting thing about technology is rather than trusting us not to, it literally removes our ability not to, right? Like, if you want to, right now, try and type, I don't know, something I wouldn't, like, try and type, your nan gay in the chat. And I'll tell you what happens, it won't get through. You cannot tell me that my nan, also, ToyCat, you're watching Better Than Us. Oh, it's called Better Than Us. There we go. You know, good job, Commander Y. We share like in TV shows, apparently. So yeah, I'm watching a show called Better Than Us. Oh, yep. See all these messages? I can see them all, but you can't. Also, Chantal's got through. You know, unless you're trusted, which you're not. trusting Chantal is a mistake, is what I'm learning right now. But the point is that you like rather than trusting that you won't say it, rather than me, you know, because like maybe it really upsets me when you say my nan is gay, because you know my nan's sexual preferences are not your not your concerns. I think it's offensive when you take a stand on them. But like using technology, I don't have to trust that you won't say that. I can literally remove your ability to, or rather, even in some circumstances, like on Twitter, I can't remove your ability to do it, but I can remove my need to listen. Like technology platforms, more and more, rather than trusting you, like this is an element of most humans for most of the time. Rather than trusting us, they make things just not possible. I feel like we've been moving towards a society forever that doesn't trust you by default. You have to earn like trust in things. Versus we used to have a world where like you were a trustworthy human being by default. You could be, you know, like it's hard to say what I'm trying to get off cross here, but as a result of technology, like it's like, okay, here's an example. If you want to get on a train in most countries, they trust that you have a ticket, and then they sometimes run inspectors and they'll fine you. Like in Berlin, they have like people who go around and they fine you if you don't have a ticket. But you can get on a train without a ticket. It's a trust-based system that, like, it's not all trust, but, you know, there are systems like that where they don't run inspectors. They just hope that you're scared they will run inspectors. I've gone on buses in so many countries without having a ticket, by accident mostly, but, like, it's just really easy to do. To get on... This is interesting water. It's really easy, if you want to just get on a bus, not have a ticket. Innocent until proven guilty. Exactly, right? We've had that thing. Also, my grandmother is very Catholic. She is Sri Lankan and Kraken. Like it's a weird combination, but she's like incredibly Catholic. Like really, really, really big believer in the church. Fun fact. Maybe you know. Maybe you don't. But yeah, so don't do that in Germany. I literally did get on a bus once, and I tried to pay the bus driver, and he just didn't seem to understand, so we just walked to the back of the bus, and it was like, huh, I guess buses were free for us in Luxembourg that day. Anyway, whole thing. Oh, also, thank you so Mr. AJ Domino's, thank you for joining the member, but also, Senor Duck, thank you for buying the ToyCat plush later today. I've been doing pretty good today. Again, I ate pizza and took a nap. If that's not a dream day, I don't know what it is. Now, I've been working on the marketplace map, because it needs the Nether update to release, but that's happening next Tuesday now. So that means I can get it ready. Aren't they always free? Oh yeah, public transport in Luxembourg is free now, but it wasn't free at the time, is my point. But yeah, it's you know, I was a trendsetter. We had a group of 2 caught because they didn't validate their ticket in Berlin. Oh yeah, in Germany, like they're heartless monsters about like finding you. I was once going to the airport, and like I had a ticket that I thought was valid, and they're like, it's not valid. €60 fine on the spot, and they just asked for €60 from me. And it was the dodgiest thing. Like this guy just pulled out a thing, and it was like he could totally be pocketing €60, and no one would ever know. Anyway, I'm sorry, but One Earth is a nan, says Killer Crab Shell. Oh, in the UK, I don't call my nan this, but some people do. Like, a grandmother is like a nan to some people. Like, so my nan gay would be saying that my grandmother, my dearest, you know, my hardworking immigrant Catholic grandmother is gay, is what you are saying if you say your nan gay. Which is totally, you know, like, again, if you'd like... I mean, actually, I've got multiple grandmothers, but we'll leave that to the side for now. Yeah, actually, all of my grandmothers are alive. I feel like that's quite rare. During school, people would, like, have their grandmothers drop dead, like, every 10 minutes, and it's like, you know, you've got, like... You only have, like, 4 grandparents. How are they dying so fast? What's happening here, you know? I just wanted to... I wish someone would tell me sometime. Anyway, so... I can't tell if my ego is just that fragile or what. I want the plush, but my thing won't be accepted. I believe in you. I believe you can do it. We have now sold another ToyCat plush thank you to the proud purchaser. Because you know what? The ToyCat is beautiful. Do you have multiple grandmothers because they're all gay? You know what? That was right on the edge. If that could have been wildly offensive, but actually, that is why I have so many grandmothers. They are all gay, and therefore I have 4. You know, it actually, you know, when you say you have multiple grandmothers, it is implying that you, whatever, we'll ignore that. By the way, thank you, Duncan Wall. Congrats on 1.49 million subscribers. Yeah, we're 10,000 away now. It's like 9,800 away from 1.5 mil. That's a cool milestone. Like, there are very few milestones that you can be excited about after you hit 1 million. But I really do feel like okay, we want to go 2 blocks to the right. I feel like 1.5 mil is like, it's what I'm excited about. So, yeah, as I was saying, what's that? ToyCat's only available for 23 hours right now. What are the ToyCat plushes? They are yes. Would you like a little tail? You better believe you would. Little arms you can move. Little bow tie. It's very cute stuff that you can pick up at makeshift.com/ all those things that I don't say. It's linked down below. Simp, 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 simp. Sim 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 sim. There we go. That's me simping hard for the ToyCat plush. You know what? The ToyCat plush is above me in all senses of the word. Bow ties are cool. I totally agree. Anyway, so the simp song. Let's make a simp song right now, shall we? But yeah, going back to what I was saying before, technology allows us to bypass trust. The requirement to trust everyone has been bypassed by technology in a few ways. Like in the UK, if you want to get on a train without a ticket, it is monumentally hard. Like, it depends on where you are, I guess, but like on the London Underground, it costs £2 to get on there. Like, you have to go through a barrier. You can push behind someone else, but sometimes they spot that. I got caught doing that once when like I physically couldn't buy a ticket. But whole thing that that's my one interaction with police. By the way, they stopped. Like I had a police interaction. Real police spending their time like policing gates at Paddington Station, which is again like whatever. I've mentioned before how police are there more. It feels like they're there more to catch you than to something else. But then it became a popular opinion, and now I love the police because I just hate everyone else's opinion. But anyway, so leaving that to the side. Technology allows you to bypass traditional trust mechanisms and assume guilty by default. And then, like you have to prove that you're innocent. Or rather, it's very hard to be guilty because you're forced to be innocent. To give another example, if this is something interesting because if you want to bring a... Thank you, Kirao Ren. 1.16 is one day before my birthday. Happy 1 week, almost 6 day away birthday, friend. If you want to bring the B word, you have to be really careful not to say it because again, we don't know at what point this becomes a problem. If you want to bring the big B word, the one, into an airport, it's very hard to like detonate it on a plane. Planes are like wildly valuable assets. Like there are planes that literally cost $500 million. If you want to blow one up, very hard to do. Because airport security since like 9/11, more or less, has basically, we gave up our right, to be not searched in exchange for our safety, right? Like, oh yeah, why would we not want them to make sure that other people don't have bombs? But then, like, because this logic has been applied there and a few other places, now it feels really weird when you go somewhere and they don't pre-check you. Like, if you go on a long-haul train journey anywhere on, don't bring bitches on planes. If you want to go, like, between Germany and Prague, Czechia. If you want to go between France and Spain, if you want to go between most European countries, the exception actually is the UK to France one because it goes through the Eurotunnel. But unless you're going between the UK and another country in Europe, you do not go through any security. You just hop on the train. You don't even need a ticket necessarily. Like, this is the craziest thing to me. To get in a ticket between Belgium and Germany, and even between like France and Germany, you just hop on the train, and there's someone who inspects tickets, and you'll get kicked off or fined or whatever else if you don't have a ticket. But like you just hop on. You know, like think about it this way: if you want to steal like not steal a plane, steal a ticket for a plane. Have you ever been on a plane without a ticket? I guarantee you the answer is no. I've never been on a plane without a ticket to that plane that I am on. That is not a thing you can humanly do anymore. And it's such a dumb thing to argue for, because like no one is like, yeah, I think that we should have the right to steal from airlines by not paying for their tickets. But like because of the because of the TSA checkpoints, they check your ticket versus your ID. It's physically impossible to get on a plane without a ticket. The very worst you can do is someone else. Like you could go through the TSA of someone and then you could swap boarding passes maybe. But like in most countries, because like in the UK you're effectively do like same thing, they scan your face, check it against your pass. But it's functionally impossible to get on a plane without a ticket. And again, there's no real easy way to defend that. There's no easy way to be like, I would like to be able to steal. Why do they make it this hard? But because you're never trusted, and because you never have to go through the thing of like, why do I not get on a plane without a ticket? Because it would be wrong. Instead, the reason you don't get on a plane without a ticket is because you can't. If you don't learn to do things because you shouldn't, as opposed to not doing things because you can't, I feel like as a society, the moment we do have the opportunity to do things for free, we're just like, those suckers paying for train tickets to Germany, you can just hop on. You know, like the buses around Luxembourg when they weren't free. You could just hop on, and you don't feel like you've done something wrong, as you should. Like when you commit a crime, the ideal thing is you feel wrong and you don't want to do it again. Like ideally, you get some form of real punishment too. But most people choose not to commit crimes, not because they can't, but because they would feel bad. We have a conscience. But if you tell people that conscience isn't the reason you don't do things, the reason you don't do things is because, like, oh yeah, you get caught. I feel like we end up in a world, it's like a moral hazard, right? Where people don't do these things. They have a good transport system though. You can't fault the Central European public transport networks. You gotta give them something. Okay, so these torches are over here, and it's lined up with over there, which means it should go right through there, right? Yep, nailed it. Only been on a plane once, and it was so stressful. I had the wrong type of ID, and they asked me a bunch of questions and patted me down. I'm surprised, like, so many people go on planes, but it's like the same group of people that fly, as opposed to most people who have never been on a plane. It's kind of shocking to me, like, how many people are like, oh yeah, I've been on a plane once. Because now I've been on a plane, like, maybe 100 times. Maybe it's definitely over 100. I don't know, like, it's low, it's 100 and something low that I've been on a plane. And it's like, the idea of, like, not knowing how the interaction works is weird. But it's also like, oh yeah, it's terrifying because it's this thing you've never done. You're expected to behave, there's like an expectation of your behavior that is never told to you. It's just like, yeah, don't mess up. I know it's weird. It's weird. But yeah, a lot of people in chat are saying the same thing. They've been on a plane once or twice or whatever. And it's just like, wow, it's the most effective like transport method we have, I feel like. And to have not been on it, I don't know. For a never had reason to fly, I'm hoping to travel more in the future. ToyCat is the sole reason for climate change. Oh, and my favorite thing is not just flying, but I like flying on empty flights. So it's taking up more CO2 per passenger that way, because the more people on a plane, the less CO2 per passenger. I am the single reason climate change exists. And I would do it all over again. I would do it all over again. I was supposed to fly to Tokyo today. That's sad. That's the world being ruined, I would say, by tragedies outside our controls. Can't say I'm a fan. Cannot say I'm a fan. I think it's sad that you can't be in a place you'd like to. The only place I fly to is Belfast, London, 4 or 5 times a year. Such an exciting life. David Solomano, I need to understand where you are and why you're flying to Belfast and London. But that sounds fun. I guess, like, honestly, a lot of people think they want a job where they fly for work. But my life pro tip I'm going to give to you right now is if you get an opportunity to travel for work, you really, 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 really don't want it. Like, plan a way to take, like, 3 months of your life off at some point if you really want to travel that bad. But everyone I know who travels for work, I have this, wait, can I tell this interaction? This is a story that makes me seem like a giant dick because, like, I enjoy my life and someone else doesn't.
Good evening, ToyCat.
Hey.
Have you thought about live streaming your first reaction to the Nether update on your survival world? I am excited to see how it turns out.
Chat, would you like to see that? Would you like to see my, like, first ever go in the Nether update on my existing world? I'm really, really curious. Yeah, I think we'd have fun with that. Oh, wow, so many yeses. So many yeses. That is the fastest I've seen this many yeses roll in. Also, good to see you, Tiffany. So let me tell you a story, because I feel like I'm the bad person in this one. I feel like I am advocating, like I'm really lucky to do what I do. That's what I want to say, and therefore like I can't tell people to. Oh, oops. Therefore, like I understand when people don't do what I do. But I have a friend. Like I was at a wedding recently, and I had this friend who was like trying real hard to like flex on all of us. Like, oh yeah, I get a bunch of travel for my work. And I was excited to talk to a guy who traveled for work and be like, oh yeah, if you're here, you've gotta try this. And if you, because like he said like, oh yeah, I just went to Amsterdam for a 3-week thing, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm going to Minneapolis for 5 weeks in January, and he's like, they're flying me out in premium economy too. Yeah, that's me, MFers. And I get paid for it. He was like some about stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, if you're going to Minneapolis, I went there earlier this year. It was amazing because I went there for a convention. I actually did. That's the one work trip I've ever done, Minnesota, I think. Yeah, I think to this day, besides like maybe Minecon, but I paid my own trips. The only time I've had my like flight paid for by someone who was not me was when I flew to Minneapolis a couple years ago. And I was like, oh yeah, there's like, it's got this, that, the other. Like I mentioned a bunch of things I enjoyed, like, oh yeah, the city of St. Paul's just over there. Like, oh yeah. Also, it's like, it's crazy. It's snow. It gets like crazy cold and hot, like in the, I mentioned a few things like that. And it was like, I was thinking I was just gonna like, realistically, by the time I'm done with the day, I just want to like go into the hotel and, like rest or whatever. And it's like, so your plan is to go to America for the first time in 5 months, and your intention is to do nothing American, just to go to the hotel, eat, and then go to work, etc., etc. And it made me like, I had this like flash, my life flashed through my eyes as like, oh my god, life is a tragedy for some people. Like working, like if you travel for work, it can be this, amazing thing, I'm sure. But some people who travel for work, it's like, oh god, your whole life, you're just going through the worst parts of travel, because travel does hurt a little bit. The point of travel is that it's more fun than it hurts. Like, especially planes like are physically uncomfortable places in the majority of situations. And it's like, that sounds American to me, says Mother Russia. And it was this moment where I was like, one, I'm so glad that I enjoy traveling, because I don't do it as like it is like a workish thing. Like I sometimes make videos or whatever, but it's like under my, schedule. Like I make the videos on a time that makes sense to me or whatever. And then I realized that like, oh god, traveling, if you hate traveling for work, if you don't like traveling, or like, indeed, just if you having most of your day taken up by a thing. Because I always hear this, I've heard this story like countless other times too, where people, by the time they're done, they're just exhausted with the day. And it's like, oh, that, and it made me like deeply sad for a bit. But then I was like, hey, thank God my life isn't a tragedy like his. But yeah, it was just a reminder, I guess, that, also I think the torch goes there. I could be wrong about this one. 185, is this 191? Yeah, it is. Nailed it. But yeah, so just a reminder, I guess. That's the thing. I like traveling, but after like 2 days, I'm ready to go home. Every time, maybe it's just like, again, it's the places I go, the stuff I do, etc. Some people are like, you have to go somewhere for 2 weeks to enjoy being away from home. I've got the opposite thing. Like, I like being away for, like, I'd say, like, 4 to 7 days at a time. Like, if I'm away from home for 2 weeks, because I tried it. I once went to Japan for 3 weeks. But, like, I think that's, like, the long... And I went I think I went to Australia for 10 days. After I'm gone for more than a week, I'm like, yeah, I miss, you know, recording videos. I miss being at home, doing the things that I, you know, exist to do to some extent. Sharing's my favorite thing, but Brooke says, Hal hates demons. Yeah, the sad reality is that to see some new places in 2020 is an expensive thing. Like, you know, planes are cool, but also they're the most efficient transport method, and therefore they're expensive. Like, again, because a plane costs hundreds of millions of dollars, and because it costs tens of thousands to fuel it, and tens of thousands for the rights to take off and land at an airport, it's definitely not a cheap thing. I think to go through this whole discussion and acknowledge that, but that's the thing, when you get given travel for free by your employer, right, which is what this dude had, and you know, when you get this hugely expensive beneficial opportunity and you can't take advantage of it, that's like, you know, one of the human tragedies, to have something that other people crave and to not care about it. Like, this is why I think you know, we've seen time and time again, like, Notch is a billionaire, but he tweets about how sad he is on a somewhat regular basis. It's been a while, actually, but it's implied recently. But, like, you can have money and be sad. You can have a lot of money, billions, and still be sad. And it seems dumb because, especially on the lower echelons, is it echelons or echelon? Whatever. Like, it seems really dumb because money makes sadness go away. Especially if you're, I think traveling for 2 weeks is good if you don't travel very often, but if you travel often, 4 to 7 days is better. I guess that makes sense. If you're doing, like, one thing a year, you want it to last as long as you humanly can. Whereas I try to do, like, a few things in a year. I guess that's the difference there. But, anyway, the fundamental thing is that, like, people who have billions get sad. Money doesn't buy happiness, but it does make sadness go away. Like, if I am feeling sad and I have a milkshake, I feel at least temporarily better. There are lots of things that bring me joy, and those things cost money. Without money, I could not do those things. Traveling's like an example, but like a much more basic one is like, you know what brings me joy? I like, you know, I can't really, the only time I listen to music is if I have YouTube Premium, so I can listen to Google Play Music. I don't have that whole Spotify free thing going on. So, like, you know, can't have that joy unless I have YouTube Premium. If I go bouldering, it costs like £12 a session. If I didn't have that £12 in disposable income, which I'm so fortunate to be in the position where I can drop £12 and not feel awful about it. Or, like, sometimes when I need to turn my brain off, I'll watch a movie in the cinema. It costs a £5. You know, £5 is a lot to just run into, I'll admit.
I went to Montreal for the first time for Pokemon Go, and I was there for 3 days and 2 nights, and on those 3 days I walked 13, then 15, then finally 13 miles. I saw things most don't just from walking.
Yeah, I never like to push this message too hard because, like, some people are in conditions where they, you know, can't walk or don't want to walk or whatever. But when I go to a new city, my favorite thing to do is just walk and see where I go. You see so much. Also, it's cool that you went to Canada just for Pokemon Go. Like, it makes me laugh, but it's also kind of a cool thing, right? But little money is big sad. Money equals happy. Too much money equals stress. You know, because this tip gives me joy. See, does it though? Like, I my hope is that it does. And, oh god, she's drinking a fire resistance. Let's just get this out of the way. Oh, that's my real hope in the world. It would be cool. Okay, I need to get out these creepers so I can actually focus on your thing, Pygor. So, the idea is like, if you didn't have that £3, right, you could not have dropped that tip. You couldn't have heard me say, thank you very much, knowing that, you know, you're gonna be funding my next milkshake when I'm next sad, or, you know, like, partly funding my next dumb purchase. I bought climbing shoes recently. Literally, the day before my climbing gym shut, I bought climbing shoes. Worst purchase of my life. But maybe, I don't know which path it is that makes you feel good, but I hope that it is. We're going to Alton Towers on the 5th of July for a few days, so excited. Also, know you hate it. I do hate Alton Towers. Like, I have this, like, visceral reaction against it. I have this theory that, like, I dislike lines too much to enjoy theme parks as an adult. So I was thinking, like, I know they sell some form of, like, line fast pass, and, like, as a group of people, it's unrealistic to pay for it. But as a single person, like, this is the coolest thing about being one person as opposed to being a group of people, is you can do dumb things and it's not disastrous with money. Anyway, ToyCat Tax, my friends and I are getting our realm ready for the Nether update, and some of them are not as interested as I am. You know what you do with those friends? You dump them. They're bad friends. Get those toxic, anyway, no. I'm sorry your friends aren't interested. It's pretty normal though for like friends to have different interest levels in a thing though, right? I wouldn't feel too awful about it. Are these jack-o'-lanterns? They should be. Whatever, we'll just place torches in front of them. And then we'll later, like, extra torch them up. Or place some sea lanterns on here or something. I'm not sure what we'll do. We'll do something. Kids in CBB's Land, fast pass. Actually, CBB's Land is, like, a cool idea. Like, I don't know why. As someone who hasn't watched CBBS in years, and I'm talking about something that the majority of my American viewers have no idea what I'm talking about. But Google it, you lazy Yanks. There we go. Look at that. I found a big list of... I'm gonna stop saying that sentence. So anyway, I think the interesting thing about money is money can make certain sadnesses go away, or at least easier to manage. And the reason a lot of people forget that because like when you look at someone who has a lot of money and you see that they're sad, you forget that when you have so much money, the difference between shopping at the cheap supermarket and the expensive supermarket means nothing. The difference between getting a $200 burger and a $2 burger is nothing. There is no quality difference in life. Everything just happens on a whim, which seems really great, unless you forget, like, the second most important thing, which is, like, appreciation. Even when I drop, like, again, the fact that I can drop, 20 quid on a train to spend 12 quid on the bouldering gym, or, it's whatever the thing is, like, I spent 19 pounds on pizza today because I wanted to, I wanted, like, they have, like, the Pizza Hut's doing these weird pizzas that are, like, they've got, like, extra pepperoni on. That sounds delicious to me. Also, it was £5, Pygo, not £3. I am a filthy monster for getting that wrong. If you know what you are doing and you feel grateful for it and you understand what it is adding to your life, money is a delight. If you forget that it is a limited resource, if as soon as it stops being a thing in your brain, that, oh yeah, this is a very fortunate thing that, for instance, being able to travel is a very rare ability that very few people do have. If you forget about those things as being, like, again, like, the guy who gets travel built in for free, like, he gets this very expensive thing, but he doesn't care. He'd rather just be at home, it sounds like, based on his stories. If your life is like that, then there's something about having something that other people want and disliking it that hurts even more. When people want something you have, and even you don't want it, because the interesting thing is, more money, more problems is a phrase that I don't fully agree with, but I think there's a nugget of truth in there. And that is that the more money you do have, you have to learn how to deal with it properly. I have a Minecraft YouTuber friend. Again, I believe he's either in prison or like a mental health institution right now. I'm not sure which of the two. But he showed me his earnings 1 month. In 1 month, actually, I don't know if I've shared this publicly or if I'm allowed to. But pretend you didn't hear this if I'm not allowed to say this. So in 1 month, also there was a weird lighting glitch. In 1 month, he earned I think it was a good month, admittedly, but he earned, I think it was $80,000. It might be in a different currency, but it was 80,000, like some, very close to $80,000. And that was like, that's just where he stopped showing me, because the limit on PayPal was $10,000, and he got 8 of those payments in a month. So your boy made $80,000 in a month, which, like, let's be honest, that's a pretty good year salary. Can we agree? That's a fifth of what the president makes in a year. Wait, this Minecraft YouTuber was getting paid more per month than the leader of the free world, right? That's an amount. That's big. But despite that, this dude went on like he went on a depressive binge and did some things that led to him being in a mental institution and or a prison. I'm not entirely sure which one at present. And there's a whole like legal situation going down that like so I can't comment too much. I can just say I knew someone who earned $8,000 a month and was like tragically depressed because the more money they were getting, the more they were having to like, again, your quality of life, the difference between like, let's just say $8,000 a month and $80,000 a month. At both amounts, you can have almost anything you want. But at the higher amount, you have to learn how to deal with that money correctly. You have to like save a certain amount, put a certain amount of liquid, certain amount of assets and bonds, and so you go through like all of these. It's DanTDM says boy random. I can tell you by looking at his stats that DanTDM definitely makes more than that. Actually, I don't know if anymore, but like you can tell by looking at a YouTuber's stats that they can make some bank. There are YouTubers, very few of them, but there are YouTubers who have made more than $1 million in a month. I would say very few. Like there's a few handfuls of YouTubers who have like raked in $1 million for a single month worth of views, which again more than the president makes in a year in a month, by the way. The more like their income ratcheted up, because I saw them go from making an amount where they could survive to making an amount where they could buy what they wanted to making so much more than anyone could like possibly really conceive of, right? Like what do you do with 80,000 in a month? Like what for real here, chat? What do you do? Is that anywhere close to your monthly wage? I'm just gonna say I wish. I really do. Let's put it this way: if every single viewer on this live stream bought a ToyCat plush, I would still be very, very short. I would still be less than 10% of the way to having that amount. But like, it sounds dumb to say, but I thought about it a few times since then. And it is like, yeah, what do you do with that? I spent 80k on ToyCat plushes. Also, the tax that like you have to have an accountant at that level to like deal with all of that. People in your life are going to start trying to skim off the top from you. More and more people are going to be trying to get a piece, of you and your stuff. If you want more money, having more money is a great thing. But if you don't, I really do think, I've said this before, I think, but I think it's a shame that no matter how good a McDonald's cashier you are, if you're the best McDonald's manager in the world, you can't make $1 million a year. Like, there is no McDonald's manager being paid $1 million a year, but there are some McDonald's managers who are adding $1 million a year of value to the company. I think that's like a tragedy, I think the fact that every job doesn't scale is in some ways a tragedy. I think more jobs should have that, cap be at the top. Because the best thing you can do in most jobs, if you want to earn more money, is work overtime. I think every job should have a performance goal as to how you can make some more, money going down. That's my personal opinion. Maybe you disagree. But, I think if you sell cars, you can make $1 million a year if you want to. It's hard, but you can. If you sell houses, you can make $1 million a year. If you do a certain thing, there is a cap to the earnings of most things that is a lot lower than most people would prefer. I know what I'm trying to say. Like, I think I've always thought that's a tragedy that like most jobs you can't earn as much as you are willing to go out and earn. But also, I realized from this one guy, this sounds dumb. I know I'm literally defending a guy who made, close to $500,000 a year or something. But when you look at it and you realize how their life gets ruined as it goes down, some people aren't built to deal with money. Some people do not see money as it is, because money is just numbers, right? Money are these numbers that keep you safe. The more money you stack up, the safer you are as a human being. The more financial security you have, physical security in the case of not having to live in the ghetto in a few places, food security in that you can buy better. You know, like you can really, again, it makes sadness goes away. It makes bad things go away, but it doesn't make good things come to you necessarily. I'm just thankful to have be content and not have to struggle with money. Yeah, I really do think like this is something I'd love to like study on like a professional level. But I feel like the amount of money you need to feel content, like, you know, it's like whatever the average is for your area. Because the real thing about how money works is it's this magic hierarchical system where you only feel bad if you feel like you can't get things because of this system. Like, people who want to burn down the system are those who do super poor under it, for whatever reason it is. And, like, if you... it's interesting, because, like, absolute poverty and, you know, absolute money making really doesn't actually affect people's happiness. Like, if you make enough, I don't know, let's say a low salary, like $15,000 a year, which is... it's really low compared to American average. Over here, that would be high. For like my area, you know, I have a couple friends who make, you know, less than that in a month. But like, because, you know, like it really varies a lot by area. But like, if you take, but the interesting thing is, like, depending on what the average is, the amount you need to feel happy goes up. The amount of money required to feel happy. This is it's called the Gini coefficient. You can prove that the way crime happens because people feel like their peers are doing better than them unfairly. When people feel like the system is, you know, like, you know, against them in some way, financial, law-wise, otherwise, they want to flip the table. We've seen this happen with, like, the legal system, where, like, there is a group of people who feel like because of their, you know, their skin color, even if it's not their skin color, a group of people feel like the skin color of your, you know, your ethnicity affects how not even the police system, not even the judicial system, right? The law system. It's the enforcement, the enforcement system. I don't know what to call it, but that is affected by your skin tones, and that's messed up. People don't like that. When you feel like you are placed at the bottom of something as a result of things that aren't in your control, you feel very upset, and that's why money doesn't make you happy, unless you're surrounded by people who have money and are happy. Then you might need money to become happy. But generally speaking, you won't... Like, I really do think that if you live in... If we even take the same country... also, thank you, Catsbat. I assume you disagree with this on a long-term thing. But, you know, Scotland is the same country as where I live in London, right? Autie Mama. But yeah, the amount of money you need to feel happy there is significantly lower. Like, I've seen people earning insane amounts here and be like, oh yeah, it's not really enough. I need to get a pay rise so I'm going to be happy. Because to be happy with the amount that you have, it's all based on your situation. Also, knowing rich people, you can see how it could be beneficial, but it has massive downsides, and I wouldn't want that. Yeah, I want to have more rich friends in my life, because every time I speak to, like, very wealthy people, I'm fascinated. Like, the things that they, you know, because, like, one, it's like, oh yeah, to some extent, they're the same people as us. But also, to some extent, like, the way they live their life, almost, everyone always has this, like, stereotype in their head of, like, oh yeah, rich people steal the money from the rest of us. Every rich person I've ever met works non-stop, all day. They destroy their, like, body or whatever. In Costa Rica, you can be middle class of $700 a year. Right, if you're poor in America, I guess we'll say air quotes, poor in America, you can have, in San Francisco, you can earn $100,000 a year, and you are below the poverty line, right? That's a crazy fact, but it is a real fact. It's a truism. And you can, if you earn, you know, like $50,000, $4,000 a month, let's say that. If you earn that huge amount, which in my country, even in London, that's like nice. But like, if you go to where I was, like, I grew up like pretty far outside of London, if you go there with that amount of money, you might be the richest person in the town. That you can have the same rough lifestyle, but because you're compared to your peers, like your house is going to be worse than those around you, etc., etc. It will be worse for your mental health to be a small fish in a big pond than even the same size fish in a smaller pond, you know? That's why that whole analogy exists about ponds and fish and stuff. Because, you know, oh god, that's how we see the world. Also, I really need to get myself some elytra fixing real soon, huh? Okay, let's make a bunch of sticks so we can make a bunch of torches. Stick, stick, stick. Torch, 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 torch. Perfect. Yeah, we'll keep on torching as we go. We got 2 more piles of sticks and 2 more piles of torches. Actually, let's just place, let's make the chest filled with these things again. We need to do that. They do work so hard all the time. Yeah, again, like I'm sure there's someone like there are billionaires in existence who inherited or whatever like the crazy thing is. But every rich person I've ever encountered are like wildly like they're just always working. That is their entire existence. Because to get to like, you know, like the reason they're motivated to get to that level is they're like, I want to be a big fish in a big pond, or even if it's just a medium-sized fish in a small pond. The thing that drives people is that I'm jumping in the inventory menu. Didn't know that was possible. The thing that like drives people to some extent is wanting to be like it's like a dumb thing because we always talk about inequality as being this like bad thing, and you know like there are a lot of things you don't want inequality for. Like we shouldn't have unequal, you know, interactions with the law. We shouldn't have an equal. Also, 5 hours money we should finish. So I'll pay again. Hey, thank you, Nara. I want to know what you're up to in Hungary sometime. You should tell me the secrets. But yeah, for now, let's break this. Let's go to sleep, and then let's head back to our torches. It's like my relatives' health having to work so hard as they have to stay in the home in Scotland due to COVID as opposed to flying home to Tenerife. You have people who live in, you have friends who like, who live partly in Scotland, partly in Tenerife. That's fascinating. That is fascinating. In Moscow, an average wage is $900, but in the rest of the country, it's half as much. See, would you feel, do you think if you had that same money and that same lifestyle, I guess it's hard to like say, but like, do you know, this sounds like I'm being super rude, but if you earned that $900 a month, do you feel like you would be wealthy? Because if you would, that's like a fascinating extra data point here. I'd rather be a small fish in a large pond. I think the reality is like the majority of people who are happy being the smaller fish in the larger pond. You feel the only reason you're like okay with that setup is because one day you want to be the larger fish, or at least a medium-sized fish in that pond, and you feel like you have to work your way to get there. But yeah, no, it's kind of weird because like people who like spend all of their days working on things that like sometimes we enjoy, like you might not appreciate the lawyer who makes $200,000 a year, or the doctor who makes $500,000 a year. You might not appreciate that they like are doing anything for you. It doesn't seem that way, right? Because you don't interact with them. But the people who like do all of this work, they're doing it to try and be unequal. They are trying their hardest to not be the same as you, which again sounds like brutal because there are so many ways we should be equal. We should be equal as humans in the sense that we should all have the same basic human rights to not be tortured or like to have a fair trial. There are lots of human rights we fought for in this thing of like, if like to avoid abuses of humanity we should have a thing. But also people, it's like a desire in all humans to like try and make themselves unequal. And that like if when we see the world as a static situation, like wealth inequality or income inequality seems like a disastrous thing. But when you look at it as a dynamic situation and you realize that it's always changing, it's like, oh yeah, well, but if you're trying really hard, shouldn't we have some... If people are willing to, like, do lots of things in exchange for a thing, should we allow them that opportunity? We should say, no, I disagree with your want. There's no real easy answer to anything. It's just something I think about. How much do you make a year, says a curable? I make $2 million a year. could be real, could be fake. Who knows for sure? I mean, I already mentioned earlier that some YouTubers make more than the president, but I assure you I don't make more than the president, sadly. For some reason, the leader of the free world gets paid more than me, and I think that's a tragedy. But if people like Shadow Ninja keep giving their $2, then maybe we can one day make as much as Mr. DJT himself. Hi ToyCat and his ToyCat. Oh, we haven't simped the cat in a while. Get yourself a ToyCat. You know, the reason I simped this ToyCat so bad is because I really want to one day be wealthy enough to not have to care about the world. I actually, you know, this is the dumbest thought. I was thinking recently, like, okay, because my goal is, my biggest goal in life is to one day have enough, like, you know, set aside that I can always be pursuing the job I want to as opposed to the job I have to. I think that's like a goal anyone would like to have. Sadly, we can't, you know, have it in the current. Or maybe we can have it, but anyway, that's a whole policy discussion for another time. But if you buy the ToyCat, you do in fact support ToyCat's drive to become unequal with you. By it's statistically like actually wait, here's an interesting thing. If you buy one of these plushes from me, you're supporting this Canadian company that put together the work and stuff. But if we ignore that, if we just think about the transfer of money from you to me, because you know they're getting paid most. I make a commission on each sale. But if you think about it this way, every single time if I don't know if I make more money than you. Let's assume that if you're like 9 as you all are, that you are, then that's like a transfer of money from, you know, poor to rich, right? That or like that you are making the world a more unequal place. If you have more money than me, then you're making the world a more equal place if you buy a ToyCat plush. And if you have less money than me, you're making the world a less equal place. And again, I don't know where all of you live, what your income is. I hate money. Hope it makes you happier than it made me. Brings nothing but trouble, to be honest. See, Onyx, the one's 160. Like, it's the same point I was just mentioning. Like, for some people, money is great. Some people love the idea of, you know, like, having an increased amount of money because of the things that come with it. And some people see it as nothing but a burden. You know, at 160, any money you have that you don't like, I do have this service where I do take it from you. Don't you ignore Canada, says Ian Hansen. I'm not rich, but ToyCat. That's right, ToyCats. How many more have been purchased since I last mentioned it? Oh, we got 3 more. 3 more people got themselves a ToyCat. There is literally a day left to get one. His butt's really squishy. There's a day left to get these, and then they'll never be sold again. It is a limited item that will never exist. But yeah, when you go into when I shop at Amazon, you know, Jeff Bezos is objectively richer than me. Every single time I shop there, I am making the world a less equal place. But that's by design. Like, he cares about, you know, like, I never decided to build a global shipping network because it's more effort than it's worth to become. Also, how about you buy the plush for me? It's a win-win. I don't know if I agree with that one. Mrs. Nara, you know, I'm going to assume Mrs. Why not? Also, Commander Y, hurrah for inequality. You know, again, I don't know your situation fully. I know you said something about family. You know, you might be supporting equality, Commander Y. I don't know your situation fully. Like, because we don't know all of that as a thing. But, like, the world cannot be equal when it comes to money because there'll always be people who refuse to work, and there'll always be those who work themselves to death. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, like, I guess more words. Like, even if you reset the world right now, if you literally took everyone and said, we will set everyone back to 0 one day. How does 1.16 affect the everything seed? I should check that. It's been a while. You know what, we'll do that. A lot of people said they want me to stream my first going to Nether, so we'll totally do that. But yeah, I want to buy a second plush and then burn it or something just to destroy a limited item. I think I'd enjoy that. You know, I might do that too. Actually, I couldn't bring myself to burn this thing. It's too beautiful. But no, I'm a photographer, but all my photography work is charity and community-based and done for free. It makes me feel good. Right, you value the helping people out part more than you value the making yourself an equal in the world, or however you want to phrase it part. Does this go there? Nope, it goes on the other side of this. And that's something I think we should also value. Like, when we say that money is good, and you know, to some extent we worship money as a society, we also need to say that when you forego money in exchange for something, like, your purpose doesn't need to be all about money. We need to acknowledge that, like, oh yeah, money is a valuable thing. If you convince people to give you their money, then you probably have performed a service. But also, if you could convince people to give you their money and you choose not to, that is also that's even more valuable. But we don't really teach that second part of that lesson as much as perhaps some would like. But the feeling is worth more than the money. Yeah, right, exactly, right. I cannot afford the blush. I have very little money of my own. Exactly. I have no. If you do not want the thing, I will never suggest that you should get it regardless. But the thing about if you reset everyone to 0 right now, which, you know, like, let's say, because right now, here's the fun fact: there is more debt in the world than there is money. There is more negative money in the world than there is positive money. It's a hard, like, fact to wrap your head around, but it is true. If we reset everyone to 0, there would still be more debt than money. Like, we could remove all the money and it would all be gone. And what I find interesting there is that if you did reset everyone to 0, you took away all the money, you would then immediately, like, even if you took away all your assets as well, like your benefits, etc., there are some people who would love to, you know, like I forgot you. I lost your name. Amanda resets. Like, it's like Amanda resets. Like, there are people who would be trying very hard to get back there, and there are people who care less. There are people who have bigger concerns in their life. And the idea that you shouldn't have to care about money in life is also an important thing. Like, as much as I value money and I think it's a cool system, I think it's also very important not to say it's the only system that matters. A lot of, like, because I don't know, it's really easy to get caught up in the system if the only things worth doing are the things that have positive money value. But, like, I don't know, I have when I meet friends, I don't make any money from that. I do it because I enjoy the thing. There are some people who get, like, who are, you know, they get to being very wealthy, but it's almost like a disorder at some point that, like, every activity they ever do is in some extent revolving around the money question. Maybe it's almost like a mental illness, but rewarding in that way. But it's fascinating. Anyway, I feel bad when I have money, says Clarissa D. You should not. There's my high-quality advice with ToyCat. That'll be $300 for your therapy today. I used to get uncontrollably angry at people who work blindly for corporations, but I'm understanding that not everyone is as astute as me, and that's okay. So it's interpersonal communicator. What makes you say they're working blindly for the corporation, right? Like, because the thing about, I don't want to get too far into, like, how labor works differently to slightly different markets, but if you offer me $1 million for my for the rights to my ToyCat plush, this thing right here, and you knew that the reason you were offering me $1 million was because you could sell it for $2 million. Actually, let's make a more physical example. You want to buy my ToyCat plush for $25 because you know you're going to sell it for $50. You know, like, you for some reason you know that in your head. Are you a monster for buying that from me, knowing that you're just, you know, you're effectively robbing me of my $25 that I could make if I sold to that person? Not really, because otherwise I wouldn't sell it, and, like, you know, like, it's a thing. If people want to do the thing, then is that such a bad thing? You know, like, I think judging people and being like, oh, you shouldn't do the thing that you need. It's easy to judge people for doing things. It's harder to realize that, you know, even though someone's making money out of them, if they're making money from the exchange, it's not always a bad thing. Like, someone making more money than you isn't bad if you're happy with the amount of money that you're getting. You feel me? That's why so many people will work for free or will do you know, thing like that, because clearly, even though their service is worth, you know, like, okay, you know, the charity photographer will photography for free, it's not because their service has no value. It's because they, you know, they prefer, they do not mind giving away that free value, giving away that value for nothing. So, if you take that and you go, I wouldn't sell it. What if we never had to breathe? You know, I reckon if we didn't have to breathe, then we wouldn't be able to buy ToyCat plushes at ToyCat. Makeshift. Link down below. Buy it now. Thank you. ToyCat doing the ACAP apology again. I was almost, I feel like sometimes my opinions do come down to like, oh yeah, this, that, but it's just because like you can't make up crimes where people, if someone isn't hurt by a crime, is it really a crime, you know? Like, it's like the whole like, you know, like if you ingest certain things into your body, that's a crime, and it's like, well, who's it a crime against really? I think most people are on the same train. It's just how you get there, you know? Like you can make the, whoa, please don't blow up. Okay. Don't know why the group didn't blow up. I guess it's based on their face, if they explode or not. Well, you know what, today I learned. I need to make some more fireworks to just clear out this inventory, huh? Wish money was not necessary. Start college, I would go as this nerdy panda. I wish I would enjoy being a teacher in like an alternate universe where I didn't have YouTube, but only like, I hate the actual teaching part of teaching, because I like when people like care about learning and want to like hear my dumb rants going on. But if you're in a classroom, people are just there because like, I want someone to pay me money later on, and for people to pay me money, they have to know that I was here for X number of years. I'm just here so I don't get fined, you know. ToyCat, you know rubber ducks can sell. Wait, so you could sell rubber toy cats? You know, that's an idea we're gonna have to look into. Let's find the rubber industry, and it'll be great. Also, ToyCat, just ignore 1.9 of those attacks. Oh yeah, 1.9 still hasn't come to Bedrock, and still, even after 1.16, it's not gonna be there. The combat update. Oh wait. Oh damn it. I think I know when the combat update's coming out, but I don't think I can say because of the whole marketplace. See, that's why I hate knowing. But I think it's happening this year. Committing respawn is legal because you're destroying government property. I don't know about that, but I do know you now as the guy who went to Canada to play Pokemon Go. So that's pretty cool, Mr. Fusion Warrior. So hello Earthlings, I'm Alien from Area 51. Tell me where to buy the ToyCat plush. Wow, you can get the ToyCat at makeshift.com/collection/ToyCat. Link down. I'm just click the link down below. I'm not saying it right. Oh look, he has little arms and he waves at you. That's right. Buy me, buy me. Money's the only thing you're worth, and buying a ToyCat plush is how you consume. How long will the shipping take? So they're not made yet. When you buy them, they all get made in a big batch, and then they all ship in a big batch in August. So they'll all come in August, in case you're curious. The plush is so cute. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. Do you know what the next update is then? Oh no, I just know there's something called like... Wait, again, I'm saying things I shouldn't say. God damn it. No, I just know there is a update coming out. Like, I could have read about what's inside it, but I didn't want to. Like, I want to be surprised. Like, because it's not going to affect my marketplace stuff. What's in the next update? Actually, it might. I guess that's why they give it to me to read. But I decided not to read it, because I was like, no. I want to be... I want to actually be surprised by update stuff. Because then I can actually talk about it more honestly. Like, imagine knowing about the Nether update before it was announced. I'd be so much less hyped. And that is a bad thing in some ways, you might say. Let's pick up all these stone slabs. I feel like they're ugly, hiding down here. I'm making the world a slightly better place. Every day, we try to do these little things. Remove that one from there. There's some on this side we need to fix. Nope, we're pretty good over here. I'd argue we probably want one there and here. We're not going to do it. Yeah, let's just not bother. We've been interesting to know what people think of you. It'd be interesting what you know. Yeah, it'd be interesting to know what you think of people in chat as, like the Pokemon Go Canada guy. Tell you what, people, I'm not going to say everyone because obviously I don't know some number of you, but you know, if you want me to judge you based on what I know about you so far, say judge me, and then I'll tell you what I know about you based on our stream interactions. And I'll go for a few people. Go on then, says Silica. You've been around for years, like since the Mob Crush days. And to this day, I'm still not sure, because I think you've got like a guy and a girl in your profile picture, and your like Silica is gender neutral, and also Ashley is gender neutral. Could be a guy or a girl, and at this point, it's too late to ask. So I'm like, hey, friend, I'm very specific to use gender neutral terminology around you. Please don't judge me, Chantal, the filthy Canadian maple syrup consuming thinks my nan is gay person. We got Chunky Nine says judge me. You seem friendly because Snorlax is friendly, and like you've been supportive. You're not the guy who jumps on like all the hate trains. Like, oh ho ho, it'd be funny if we, wouldn't it be funny if we mailed ToyCat a pile of dog poop? Like there are like some chat trends that are just dumb, and you don't jump on board with those. So I appreciate that in you, Chunky Nine. Commander Y says judge me. No one knows of Silica. It's the mystery, right? It's the mystery. You gotta be cautious around it. You gotta be cautious. But yeah, Commander Y. I know you had some vague accident at some point, and also you like D&D, and you seem to share a lot of my interests outside of it as well. And also you're the guy who's like, you seem to be very good at like rallying chat around like a cause or whatever. You know, like you'll even like tip to like throw a message out there, which is I think that's the coolest thing. And a Star 22 says, judge me, thanks. I think I named a dog after you a long time ago, or a sign after you. And again, I have the same positive, vague impression of you, because you're also a channel member. We got, Ezra Morgan says, judge me. I knew someone called Ezra, like, forever ago, and I've always, like, linked you as being the exact same person as them. So, like, I picture your face, even though it's not your face. I picture a guy in my life called Ezra's face. And I'm like, you know, he's nice enough. May I be judged, says Mother Russia. I know you live in Russia, and I still imagine that there's like, you know, you're like extremely extroverted, and you come to these streams as like a form of conversation. It sounds like. I appreciate your existence, Mother Russia. What else we got here? Albie says, don't judge me. Hey, Albie, good to see you here. Been a while. You know what? You're like, if that's Mother Russia, you're like Daughter Russia, right? I hope I'm getting you right as the right Albie. You could not live in Russia, and that would be dumb, right? But let's assume you live in Russia. Judge me, says Katie. See, because your first name's just Katie, I have no dude. Like, you could be so many Katies. I don't know you specifically, Katie. Jess Slimmer says, judge me. I think your actual username is Jess Slimmest these days. Thank you very much. But yeah, I'm gonna stop judging people. I'm sorry. You don't know a thing about me, but would you judge me? Says Comrade Clyde. You're called Comrade Clyde, so you're some form of communist, and you've made comments before about how I'm not politically extreme enough for you, because I try not to like alienate people sometimes. Sam Richards, hope you're doing well in lockdown, 3rd year of subbing too. I'm actually, again, like, I'm really glad that I'm doing well in lockdown, because I've been wanting to do something like this for a while anyway, and I concluded I just never would. So like the government's forcing me to do something I kind of wanted to do anyway, like just take a while and live a normal life, like stop traveling for a bit, etc, etc. Because now I'm gonna now that I'm at home way more, I'm gonna appreciate traveling so much more when I get back into it, and I'm gonna be like safer about it, more reasonable. Stop booking dumb things that require me to stay for 24 hours overnight somewhere. I'm rethinking what videos I'm going to make when I travel again. Like, I feel like I'm one of the very fortunate few when it comes to lockdown, and that, like, this hasn't been my life for a while, and I've kind of missed that. Like, obviously, a lot of my life has been destroyed by it too, sure. But also, I've got a job that I can do during lockdown, which is very... it's not the standard. I spoke to my bank manager. You know, my bank manager asked me for a Zoom call, and I don't know how to, like, what is that, you know? What is any of that? whatever. Anyway, like I'm still thinking about it to this day. About like, why does my bank manager want to Zoom call me? Like, in what world do we live in where that's a real phrase I can say to you and not be making up a story? Anyway, so how long do you think the extra appreciation will last about you traveling before you feel normal about traveling again? It's a weird one because I think it might go back to normal immediately, but I could see it also not. I became a member and nothing happened perk-wise, says Nara. Are you sure you're a member? Nara? You get a nice green... I don't think you're actually a member. I think you've made a mistake. I didn't see you're joining the channel. But you get a green name, you get a nice little logo, etc, etc. Make your bank manager use Discord instead. I don't know if I've told this story before, but this is the dumbest thing. So my bank manager came to my house. Don't ask why my bank manager comes and visited me at my house. He did. It's a whole thing. Anyway, so my bank manager came to me at my house, like a while ago, and like I told him which way was the fastest way to walk back to the bank if he wanted to, and he was like, "There's some unsavory fellas down there," and I'm like, "Ah, it's all right." And he just like, he didn't want to clearly, but he did it anyway. And that's the power I have of my bank manager friends. Confirm that I'm in fact a baked bean. For the record, though, I do be a human male. Okay, we finally found it out. We've cracked the case. Now that's it's the reason I remember it like years ago. I was like, I think you might be one of the first people to get a ToyCat t-shirt, and that's why I was even more like, oh, you can't be certain. But yeah, crack the case at last. It's been done. You know, honestly, that's the cool. I wish I'd been like, could my fuck chat. I wanna be honest with me here. You know, let's not sugarcoat this. Could my voice be female? Wait, right now, because to me it sounds kind of high pitched for a guy voice, but I guess I'm used to. Like, could my voice be female? Internet? Is there anyone who would believe in that? Is there a single person here who's like, oh yeah, is ToyCat a girl? I kind of forgot. No. Okay, it's ruined. I'm sorry. I tried my best, but I did not succeed. I didn't get what I want nor what I needed. Also, placing these torches is a lot of work. You know what I do after a long time off work? I like to get myself a ToyCat plush at makeshift.com/ToyCat/plushes/collection/ link down below. Oh wow, I am floating off screen again. Okay, so my money got taken and I got an email. I'll check if you remember, Nara. Like, type something in the chat, and if you go green, you'll know you're a member. If you don't go green, then you'll know you're not a member on the right account, and that's why you don't have any perks. So real quick, let's look at my destroyed chunk. This is definitely not a dangerous thing to do. Let's just stand right here, over the edge. What could go wrong? What could go wrong? By the way, we have 485 members right now. Oh, how sad. You know, it went down. Yeah, you're not a member on your account, Nara. That's for sure. I can show you a list of members, actually. I don't know if I should. Let's do it. You know, what could go wrong with this? And you can, like, sort by... Yeah, there's 485 members, and the longest standing members to this day, because the vast majority of people who have been a member have been a member for only a month, but a few people, it's okay. What's your favorite episode in your survival world? My favorite episode is episode 160. No, I think I liked a recent one where I built the dome, 451. Yeah, who's the longest standing member, actually? I don't know if we have that in here, but yeah, we've had a member for like a couple of years. I think it's Kit Kats. Like, she signed up the moment YouTube let you, and I'm still like, hey, thank you, Albie. Why is the number of views declining? So the thing about these streams that always happens is the later we go, the more views drop off. Because we have people that are living in, like, Eastern Europe or Russia, where right now it's 2 a.m. or something, and slowly they drop off to go to sleep. And then, like, even if you're in Europe or the UK, midnight is pretty late for some people. Also, thank you, Julian Coy. I think most people hear your voice and immediately think male, but I think it depends on other conditions too. My voice sounds really high pitched to me compared to like a dude voice that sounds like this. This is how you normally sound. I'm pretty sure. But I guess that's like a whole thing. Kit Kat's, there's a name from the past. Yeah, she's been a little outfit recently. We miss her though. We miss. I mean, I miss her. I guess I can't speak for all of you. You can miss whatever you want. You can miss missing things if you want, and that's an entirely acceptable opinion. So can't you miss diamonds? Thank you very much for letting me know about that thing that definitely happened. Plus kids in sleep. Yeah, exactly right. Like if no matter where you are, like staying up past midnight it's something you take for granted at some point, but also not everyone can just do that. Not everyone can just be like, yeah, screw life. Anyway, I miss Kit Kats. That was a good cooking with ToyCat. That was my first time deep frying, I think, actually. It was a lot of fun. Anyway, thank you for watching today's live stream. I've had a lot of fun. Have you had a lot of fun? Yeah, I've had a lot of fun, ToyCat. Thank you for asking. Before we go, this whole stream is here for me to simp for the ToyCat plush. Would you like one? There is 23 hours left to get your hands on one of these. How do you do that? Go to the link in the description. They will not be sold after tomorrow ever again. I'm not doing this merch stream. I'm like, until we do a restock, and I'm artificially limiting demand. No, I am saying this is a celebration for 11 years. Thank you, Pyko. You're a very nice person, Pyko. I'm going to judge you now. On every interaction, you seem to just be a positive person. A positive addition to... I assume this... Again, like, I actually make these judgments about people in their entire lives. I'm like, the people who are nice in chat... Maybe this is wrong. Maybe you're, like, all monsters and you beat your wives or whatever. But I always assume, like, you're positive additions to the lives of those around you. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe I should assume that you're all monsters who beat your wives. Maybe you do. I reckon that's definitely true. Anyway, go to the link in the description. Get yourself a plush. Have yourself a nice day. You got 24 hours left and then never again. It's not some weird ploy to sell them more. It's just because it's a temporary celebration. Maybe we'll do something similar years down the line. But this is definitely a thing. I'm a monster in chat, but nice IRL. Nice try. Nice try. No one's buying it, Chantal. Also, I swear I don't beat my wife, says the idiot down the street. Well, if you say that, I guess I can't not believe you. But you know what I do believe? I do believe that I have to go. Thank you for watching today, because I'll see you all in the next one. You gay. Yeah, I called you all gay. How about that, friends? Okay, also thank you, Commander Y, last tip of the stream. If you have a ToyCat, you are part of the super fan club. I'll also close to de-simped. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye. He's flying off screen. That's what he's doing. makeship.com/collections/featured/products/IVX ToyCat. Link down below. Get yourself a plushie now. They're running out. Real soon. Real soon. Get one now. You know you want to. You know you secretly want to. Water's good. I like water. You know what I like more than water? I like the ToyCat plush available at makeship.com/ I can't say the URL, but you know what I can say? I can say I appreciate you all showing up here today. It was a nice chill stream we had. I had a good time. And you know what? That's good. That's good. We should have good times more often. I want to hear what this sounds like, so I'm gonna go watch this stream back now. Have a nice day. Goodbye.